I got a big mouth. Can't help it. I talk from my heart. I'm real. You know what I'm saying? Whatever comes, comes. But my controversy problem. And it's not my fault. I'm trying to find my way in the world. You know, I'm trying to be somebody instead of just make money off everybody.
Is hypergamy policing a thing? In case you just joined us, what is hypergamy? We should all know here, but in case you don't know, hypergamy is the term that we use to describe the tendency for women to date up and across, but never below in regards to looks, money, and status. So basically, if you ever hear a woman saying that they want a man that's on their level, or she wants a man that could bring what she brings to the table financially, intellectually, physically, etc., those are all euphemisms. Okay, those are nice ways of putting a harsh truth. In its simplest form, basically what's being said here is that the female wants to engage with men that are of equal or greater value than herself. That's really what it is. If y'all looking at the screen right now, y'all should see this SMV chart. I forgot. I believe it was from the Rational Male, and I got that book somewhere in here too. But this is one of the classic charts you'll see that's giving like a good illustration of male and female sexual marketplace value. That's what SMV stands for. And you can see how we all reach our peak at different ages. And I'm going to speak on that a little later. But basically, when we talk about hypergamy, we're talking about women dating up and across, but never below in regards to looks, money, status, or sexual marketplace value, as they call it. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't exceptions to that rule, or it doesn't mean that women won't deviate from this preference to fuck a dude that's, let's say, if he's lower on the totem pole in terms of looks, money, status. If he makes up for it in other ways that directly benefits her, that doesn't mean that the woman won't deviate from the hypergamy motto, so to speak. But generally speaking, no matter how successful or independent or how strong a woman is, she's going to be compelled to submit to a power that's greater than her. People get offended with the way that sounds. But if you don't believe me, or if you think this is like some type of bro science, just try being a weak ass nigga talking to a female that can sense that weak shit radiating from your pores. So just test that theory out and let me know how that turned out. Shout out to everybody that's joining the chat. Please like the video if y'all coming in. Part of the question that I'm posing today is are women actually wrong for being hypergamous? Why or why not? And the second part, I guess the two-part question I have is this: are men and women wrong for utilizing each other's biological imperatives? So basically, are men wrong for using a woman's hypergamy in his favor and using his understanding of female nature in his favor? Would a man be wrong for that? Would a woman be wrong for using a man's hypogamy? Not hypergamy, but hypogamy, which is pretty much the equivalent. A man's tendency to date down. Would a woman be wrong for taking advantage of that? Would a woman be wrong for utilizing her understanding of a man's nature in her favor? So real quick, these are my thoughts on the first question: are women wrong for being hypergamous? I don't think so. And my reason for saying that is because from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense that women would be hypergamous as a reproductive strategy. On a primal level, it makes sense for a woman to have children and be cuffed up by and I say cuffed up, like not literally, but that's today's slang for wifed up. It makes sense on a primal level for a woman to want to be wifed up by the toughest dude in the room, or the toughest dude in town, or the village, or however you want to look at it. For her to risk reproducing with inferior men, that's actually putting her own life in risk, because it don't take nothing for somebody to get jealous or in their feelings and be dude ass, kill the father off. And it's also a threat to her offspring. She wants to reproduce with the most healthiest, most fittest, most superior mate that she could possibly attract. So I don't think women are wrong for that. That's just a part of nature that I think for whatever reason humans choose to ignore, choose to throw under the rug and act like the shit don't exist when it does. Let me see where I was at. Um, I think what is wrong is, like I said, it ain't the woman's hypergamy that's wrong as much as it is the tradition in society to leave people in the dark about male and female nature. We don't talk about our similarities, our differences. We don't talk about how we complement each other or even how we work against each other. So these so-called gender wars, they carry on and people make shit more complicated than it has to be, um, not because of hypergamy or hypogamy for men, but because we don't have an open discussion about these things. That's why people censor what's being said on YouTube right now. That's why if anybody's tuning in, male or female, they don't like the way some shit sound, what do they want to do? They want to flag your channel. They want to ban you from Facebook. They want to ban your Twitter. You know, everybody's trying to stop these conversations. This once the cat is out the bag, you can't stop these conversations. It's long overdue. If everything was really just upfront and laid out for everybody to see, then it would be a matter of people making informed choices rather than blind choices, because everybody would already know what it is on both sides. Um, Let me make sure I answered the question. What's going on, Alma? I believe I answered the question. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it simple for this. All I'm asking is, are men and women wrong for utilizing each other's nature? Is it wrong for a man to utilize female hypergamy? Is it wrong for women to um get men to submit to them by way of male ego or even insecurities, jealousy, even neoteny? You know, that's something else that men had a tendency to want to rescue, or I ain't gonna say put the cape on, but basically protect women and children that they care about. And you would be foolish to believe that, or you would be foolish to not believe that that's a strategy of reproduction. You know, I can't quote exactly how far it goes back in entertainment, but I'm sure y'all seen that little picture or that depiction of a damsel in distress dropping a napkin or some shit, or she's cold, so she wants a man to come up and give her a jacket, or even like, now I'm going way out the ballpark, but on some Mario Brothers Princess Toadstool type shit, there's always an appeal to a damsel being in distress. If any of y'all want to join the hangout, let me know. I'll post a link too. But that's appealing to men. So, I know guys right now, they feel like they have to help their girl. They feel like, it's they like to complain about it, but at the same time they like to do it because it is fulfilling to them and giving them a sense of purpose. If the chick didn't need them for something, then they would feel out of place, or they would feel like they're not needed. So I view this as a reproductive strategy. I view it as, it's nothing is off limits here. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. That's like the only language that we using, but I don't view it as right. I view it as amoral. It's a means to an end. Uh, what's wrong is that people don't talk about it, and that people are not honest about it when they do talk about it. Um, One of the things that brought this topic up is the tricking equals simping topics, because I know a lot of y'all are interested in my response on that. I did go live. I made like a little traffic rant yesterday. Um, I don't know what happened to it. It's still on my page, but for some reason it's not done processing, that don't even sound right to me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. Yeah, because I don't know why that shit. I did it from my phone. That's why I prefer to do live streams from the crib, or at least from the laptop. Because every time I go live with my phone, it either have a difficult, like a hard time processing. Excuse me, or I be losing the connection in the middle of my streaming if I'm like out somewhere where it's a lot going on. So real quick, I just want to show y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, y'all should be able to see my screen. This was the video I did yesterday. Let me get back to it. the tricking simping addendum. This was my video. So it's posted. It's supposedly public. I can look all these other videos. I can download it if I need to. I can go to the info and settings, but with this one, it still say info and settings. This is all. Look, it's public. That's the only thing that shows up. Let me go back. Now, if I just click on the video like I want to watch it, it still goes to the screen. So if anybody knows what that's about, let me know. But yeah, I did that video. Hold on, let me go back. I did that video after watching Minister Jab's video, so I haven't seen all of his videos, but I did watch the video on him talking about Tariq Nasheed, just so I got a better understanding of what brothers was complaining to me about. Now I see, like I said yesterday, I see why y'all laughing at Jab. I understand both sides now, because at first, when that last video I made, I was just like, what the fuck is y'all talking about? Now I understand why people was laughing at Jab, and I understand why y'all want to keep this debate going on. I did talk to Jab. He said he don't mind going live with me. I don't know if I'm gonna go on his channel or he gonna go on mine, but we'll figure it out. But I haven't watched all his videos yet. I didn't watch the Brazil thing, so I don't know like if that's something. If he said something else in that was like making motherfuckers go nuts, but y'all trolling each other, G. He trolling the niggas that be traveling, and the traveling people is trolling him too. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know how Jab move, and the thing that I saw in the Tariq Nasheed video, I actually feel that he was justified in doing it. Like I said, I know how Jab move. He can forgive simping, because he talked to a lot of motherfuckers. He didn't talk to people. He do the same shit I do. Like, a lot of us be talking to y'all on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. And, you know, well, I'm going to speak for myself now. I love some of y'all brothers, man, and some of the sisters. I had good conversations with y'all, especially when it's one-on-one, because sometimes people get in comment sections and they pick up that collective, that hive mentality. But when I talk to a lot of y'all one-on-one, I actually had good conversations with y'all. But sometimes y'all do be blowing motherfuckers up. So I understand what Jab be saying with that. It could be overwhelming at times, but it's enjoyable too, because like it feels like we helping in a sense. Because I know me personally, I ain't had nobody to talk to when I was out here simping. When I was like simping super hard, I had motherfuckers making fun of me, yeah, but wasn't nobody really pulling me to the side, putting me on game. Wasn't nobody really explaining or like being able to put into words the things that I was experiencing and feeling, and I didn't know how to describe the shit. I didn't know there was a such thing as hypergamy or such thing as Griffith's law or such thing, you know, like different principles, different theories, because they don't mean it's 100% like accurate, but it's close enough to where we could say, yeah, that. You know what I'm saying? You ever some shit ever happened to you, like either in a relationship or dating? And this is a question for anybody, for men or women. Just some shit that happened, and you didn't know what the fuck. You like, what is that? What the fuck? That right there. What is that? And you don't have a word for it. So like that's kind of what the manosphere provides. Sometimes it's accurate. Sometimes it's reaching, but it's better than being silent and just letting motherfuckers throw themselves off of a cliff. Going back to Jab's Tariq Nasheed video, I agree with him on that. Only because, see, he, like I was saying, he'll forgive simping, but tricking in his mind, that's just like the ultimate sin. So I'm saying this with all due respect, but I feel like Jab was hurt that, goddamn it, Tariq has a history of tricking. And I would be too if I was Jab, because if you looking up to a nigga and that dude is priding himself on being some type of Mac or player or something, and you find out that he in Brazil doing the same shit that everybody up here is making fun of niggas that go down to Brazil doing, then you would feel some. That's like finding out Santa Claus ain't real or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to insult Jab. I'm just saying like that's how I received it, and I was laughing because I'm like, hey man, if I looked up to I don't look up to these pimp niggas. I don't look up to these Macs. I respect people in the manosphere that help brothers get their game right. But as far as the olden days of pimping these hoes and Iceberg Slim and all that shit, like it's entertainment to me. Yeah, I like the lingo, how motherfuckers rhyme when they talk with the Jesse Jackson shit, but I don't respect them niggas. I don't look up to them just like they don't look up to me or respect me. So Jap does, and I can see him being deeply hurt by finding out that motherfucking Tariq Nasheed been to Brazil and he wasn't down there watching the sunset and shit. Lionheart said Jap is a local dude. He needs to get out of Chicago, enjoy life a little. That's why I want my last video to be processed. I don't know why that shit ain't posting. It is public, but it's not. I don't know if the file is corrupted or what. I never got to mirror it to my main channel because it never reposted on this channel. But that's what I was saying in my other live yesterday. I would strongly encourage that brothers like Jap at least go outside the country. I ain't saying go to Brazil. I ain't saying going to the DR, Colombia, none of that. He did say he would go somewhere with a soft leg. I would highly recommend don't do that, but I ain't mad at the brothers who do. And the reason I say don't travel with soft legs is because what do they do? Generally speaking, I'm not saying all women do this. Taking my hoodie off. The reason I say go somewhere with your guys or by yourself is because you want to experience local culture. If you go somewhere with a chick, you gonna be in a resort. Trust me. You gonna go outside of America to do American shit. That's not the goal here. Like, what I want people to experience is culture shock. I want you to possibly, and this is a suggestion. I ain't mean this like sound all damn, what's the word for that shit? I ain't trying to sound like a authoritarian, whatever. Like, bro, go somewhere where you can see some different shit, where you can be exposed to different languages, different customs, different values. It don't have to be totally alien from what you know here, because a lot of the Caribbean, a lot of Central America, a lot of countries across the Atlantic, they would still be what you consider somewhat westernized. But it's different enough for you to see something outside of Chicago, outside of Atlanta, outside of New York, outside of Texas, wherever you from, you know. And that's not to knock these places, but we gotta broaden our horizons, man. And Jap, the reason people was laughing at you, it ain't that you don't know what you're talking about. Well, it is that you don't know what you're talking about because you're listening to niggas in a barbershop, but you know what you're talking about when it comes to Chicago. You know what you're talking about when it comes to gaming these single mothers, that gaming the young business-minded chicks. Jab has a lot of valuable information to offer, and he know female fuckery to a T. But a lot of us do too. And the reason people is laughing at Jab is because it's certain shit that if you ain't experienced it, like, I can't give it to you. I don't know how to describe certain things. I did write some. Let me make sure I'm going over my little notes because I had to write shit down so I wouldn't forget it. Let me see. Okay, this is something that I wanted to say yesterday, but I was driving. Why? And I'm not saying this is Jap per se, but this is people that subscribe because I look at his comment sections too. And the people that just want a lot of motherfuckers, YouTube is entertainment. So I told you I don't mind talking with him. I don't mind responding to his videos. I don't mind having a face-to-face hangouts, whatever y'all want to do. But understand that we two niggas that know each other, we just don't really agree on the same things. We can get along. The comment section, that's a different story because y'all just want some entertainment, which is fine. But why are people upset with men who travel abroad to live or to date or to do business or to fuck bitches, do all of these things? Because men travel for different reasons, and I would say all of the above. Part of the reason is because they think that it is somehow wrong or immoral that you as a man would take the time and spend the money at that to travel to another country where the culture is different, the food is cheaper, the living expenses are cheaper. Your dollar, I'm speaking from an American standpoint, your dollar spends better in their country than it does in your own. So there's an economic advantage there, and that's something that Jap had mentioned too. As long as you stay out of the tourist traps, you can spend your money your money will last you a lot longer in these other countries than it will at the crib. So why are men mad at other men for doing that? Like the things that's another thing. Like when you go to other countries, some of the shit that matters here doesn't matter there for you. It don't apply to you. Things that's a big deal at home, like the type of car you driving, or the clothes you wear, or what you do for a living, or your reputation in these streets, all this goofy shit. What type of illegal drugs you got for these hoes out here? Like y'all mad at brothers for going to places where none of those extra burdens apply to them. And you mad because they have economic, they're taking advantage of an economic advantage, or just having leverage. So I'm asking them this: what is the root of your outrage? What are you really suggesting here? Are you saying that we should just all stay home and stay limited to the same playing field? Because if brothers traveling and taking advantage of economic differences, if that's a problem to y'all, then it sounds like you suggesting that people just stay in their own matrix and limit themselves to the women that we complaining about in the same economy. That's the point that I really want to drive home. Something that women are not going to do themselves, by the way, because a woman would, and I'm talking about American women, motherfuckers will get on some Cinderella shit real quick in a heartbeat if given a chance. Nobody's telling women to stay limited to the dating pool on 79th, or in Chicago or in Illinois or in whatever region. Nobody's telling women to limit themselves in a way that men are telling each other to limit themselves, if that makes sense. But based on y'all logic, I would take it a step further and say that maybe perhaps men shouldn't even talk to women that don't have what they have. If you mad at a brother for going to another country where his money spends better, where he don't have the same social pressures that he have here, as far as like you got to fight any nigga that's looking at your girl the wrong way. You got to worry about if you're gonna get robbed for having nice things. You got to worry about all these different factors that are really just American problems. I'm not saying they don't exist other places, but they're not as relevant. Or in some cases, as Americans, we may have privilege over those burdens. You mad at brothers for going places, taking advantage of those benefits, those privileges, so to speak. I would take it a step further and say, like, let's just make everybody even. Let's use y'all logic and make everybody even. So that means if you here in America and you make $100,000 a year, you shouldn't be talking to a female that make less than $100,000 a year. You should be talking to equal or greater. If you drive a Benz, I don't want to see you talking to a bitch that don't drive a Benz. Why? Because you exercising an economic advantage to impress these bitches. Now you could use the excuse that no, this ain't for these hoes, this is for me. I understand that, but if you dick policing, or what was the title of this, hypergamy policing, then by y'all own logic, you should not be trying to appeal to no female that ain't got every single thing y'all got. That sound retarded, don't it? That sounds stupid, don't it? That's how y'all sound. I'm saying it's the same principle. It's just exaggerated. And the reason I do it that way is so you can see that I don't have a problem with what y'all think. It ain't a problem what y'all thinking, it's how y'all thinking. The way that you're thinking it, and I'm not trying to call everybody a social justice warrior, but it's easy to point this out because this is what social justice warriors do. They make these rules. Y'all sit up here on the soapbox and create these commandments for everybody else to abide by. But then when the shit applies to y'all, or when people ask, like, to what extent, what are the boundaries that we talking about here? Where does the shit begin and end, and who dictates that? When you start trying to narrow it down and get to the specifics like that, then motherfuckers want to wiggle around it and move the goalposts and say, well, no, that's not what I was saying. That is what you're saying. I'm just looking at it in terms of well, how do I want to phrase this shit? Like, you basically saying the same thing. You just want to narrow it down to where you're comfortable with it and enforcing it on other people. As long as your rules don't apply to you in the same context, then it's okay. Brooks say culture shock, go to LA. I'll go to LA just to see what I'm thankful that I don't have to deal with in Chicago. Like, I would rather spend my life in Chicago, possibly walking out the door, dodging bullets every day than to possibly deal with some of the shit y'all talk about in LA. Now, I'm saying that speculatively because I follow the news. I follow what's going on with the protests and stuff out there, which is funny because we got a protest coming up Monday out here. But I would have to go out to LA. I still, even though I don't think I would enjoy myself there, I would still go just to verify. And that's all I'm asking brothers like Jap and brothers who are going on with this tricking equals simping. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. I ain't asking nobody to go trick. I ain't asking nobody to go pay for pussy. I ain't asking nobody to go travel to date. But actually, I would recommend that because that's another point he made. He was saying, I don't think he said it's okay if a nigga date a Brazilian bitch in America, but it's not okay if he go to Brazil to date that same bitch. That don't make no sense to me, bro. You basically saying that we should only deal with American ass fuckery, or we should only deal with a foreign here, knowing full well that the market value out here is highly inflated, hyperinflated, I would say. So you telling me I should date a foreign chick here in America where we deal with the same American problems instead of just going abroad, meeting a motherfucker in their natural habitat. You know what I'm saying? Where they customs and values may even teach me things. I may learn things from them. Y'all not looking at it in that sense. Y'all looking at it as, but you going over there with money. Or you know what I'm saying? Y'all going over there spending money. That's pocket watching, bro. That's pocket watching, that's dick policing, and now we hypergamy policing. I'm gonna coin that term because that's what I think it is. I'm asking a question, but that's what I think it is. I think you telling me that I shouldn't be placing myself in a situation where I have an economic advantage over a woman, even though that's what women want. So are women wrong? My bad. Are women wrong for being attracted to men who have higher looks, money, and status than them? Like, think about what I'm saying, bro. I may not be saying it correctly or articulating it the proper way, but it ain't hard to understand. I'm gonna scroll up and see what y'all talking about in the chat. And I got a few minutes. So like I said, here's the hangout link. Anybody want to jump on real quick? That's cool. I think Tariq made it seem like he was. What's up with the moderators, man? Why y'all don't shut the shit down? Almost say I think Tariq made it seem like he was just pulling them by kicking game. I'd be mad also if I found out them niggas is funny. That's what I was talking about, bro. I'm telling you, I had this conversation years ago, G. Look at my dating versus prostitution. That ain't that old. But look at that video. And even beforehand, I told y'all, before I started posting DR videos, I told y'all that some of these niggas is talking about go to Brazil, bro. Just come on down here. Come on, go over there to Costa Rica. I'm like, bro, they not telling y'all the whole story. Like, it ain't that. Like, it's the stereotype that niggas in America is afraid of. Nobody likes to accept the fact or the possibility that they are coming up off of anything for some ass, because that's like the ultimate sin in the black community. That's another question. What about the other? It ain't just niggas going down there. We late to that party, bro. What do you have to say to these Australians and Canadians and British motherfuckers down there, Jews and Arabs and Indians? Everybody going down there, fucking bitches that look like me and you, like our people, so to say. I'm telling you, it's Haitians, Dominicans, like it's a lot of melanated people all throughout the world. And why is it we only dick policing each other? Like, y'all, I don't see y'all crying racism or cussing out these white boys for going down there doing what they've been doing for years. I don't even see y'all on their videos, because they've been making videos on some tourist shit for a long time. But when Marcus Brown started to do the shit, or Russell Taylor started to do the shit, or whoever, You know, now it's a problem. Now we blowing up the spot. We fucking up the game. No. Ghost and Wild Black say, Brooke, 3 days in the hotel. I don't know what SF is, but he say it probably costs half a month's rent in the Midwest and South. Gotta save up. Yeah, I mean, shit. Even in America, I live in expenses in Chicago. I know for a fact I could go somewhere in Nevada, somewhere in Florida, somewhere in the South where the living expenses are way cheaper. I don't know what the club expenses would be like or what the grocery expenses, something like that. I would imagine that like everything will be cheaper because fuel is cheaper. Wherever gas is cheaper, everything else is cheaper because transportation is a big component in pricing. So wherever the gas is cheap, everything else is gonna be a little bit cheaper. Mom say, yo, Marcus, keep it real. You think Snoop, Ja Rule, Flow Rider out? Oh, nigga, yeah, quit, man. He said, I already know what you finna ask, bro. You think Ja Rule, Flow Rider was out there kicking game in Brazil? Come on, they don't speak no Portuguese, and they had to be shelling out some type of bread. Of course, bro. And it make even more sense that they would do that. You think these celebrities? I've been to DR and I've seen celebrities down there. I seen a celebrity. I don't want to mention that. I seen one celebrity down there, and that's a funny story that I can't tell at this time. But come on, man. Y'all think these celebrities go down to these other countries? Fucking J. Cole. He got a lyric in one of his songs where he say, I can't think of the lyric right now, but he said somewhere down in the Dominican Republic where they don't speak Anglo, but they understand the narrow. Like, let me find that shit, bro. If anybody know the song I'm talking about, like a nigga that been to DR heard that lyric and was like, yeah, nigga, like you weren't mad at him, but you already knew what he was saying. Ma, I ain't say that, but you did, so you already knew. I guess you kind of solved that riddle as to who I saw down there. But yeah, that happened. Bro, it's the niggas who never traveled out of. It's the people who haven't been to these places that's really like throwing shade at it, and I don't know what to say, man. Like I told y'all, I ain't really as interested in this. I'm still interested in traveling, but as far as making this argument, I had these conversations already. I feel like I did my part already. Like my part was just to start this conversation. And to my surprise and to my delight, I've been blessed to meet brothers who are always traveling. They always invited me places now. I've met people who and that's another thing. These ain't no broke motherfuckers. These ain't no losers. These ain't no people that can't get laid. These are established motherfuckers who been peep female fuckery in the States a long time ago. These are military veterans. These are policemen, firemen, motherfuckers that in IT work. You know what I'm saying? These are people that can work remotely. They don't have to work in an office. They can work wherever the fuck they want to work. So you cannot call these people losers. You can't tell me these people are lame. If anything, I would probably be the lamest nigga out of all of them. And I'm saying that out of modesty. But bro, like once people go, they not coming back. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna undo what's already been done. Ghost and Wild Black say I've only lived in 2 states. Have my passport, going to check out the West Coast first before I go international. Yeah, bro. I want brothers to look, man. I'm never gonna shame anybody for doing anything outside of their comfort zone. I'm not gonna say, oh, well, this place cool, but you need to go to that place. No, shit. Do you? If anything, put us on. Report back to me. Report back to us. Tell us what your experience was like. You might put me onto a place that I wasn't familiar with, that wasn't even on my radar. Why would I sit up here on some pedestal and try to like talk at y'all instead of talk with y'all? What's going on, Robert Root? Hey, thanks for the sub, bro. Thanks for the subscription. Trying to think, is there anything else I was gonna say in regards to that? But yeah, I mean, maybe me and Jap will hop on a hangout or something together. But that I see why y'all laughing, but it it's funny, but it ain't funny, G. And let me say this too, like it's relative because niggas gonna laugh at us just like we gonna laugh at them. What I respect is when brothers could come together and exchange ideas, maybe agree to disagree, or maybe even leave with a different perspective. But yeah, anybody that has not been outside of the US, I would highly recommend that. Put all the trick and shit to the side, man. Just please get the fuck out of the matrix. And don't go to no resort, bro. I mean, do it just to see what it is, but you ain't really experiencing a different culture until you have been away from the resorts and away from places that you might as well have been at the crib. And the reason I say that is because like when you go to these resorts, you get off the plane, you get a bus that pick you up. You think this is something impressive because everybody got a different accent, or it's palm trees everywhere and shit. The birds look different. You know if you from the hood, you like nigga, what type of bird is that? Like little shit like that. That's nice, but you being taken straight from the airport to another enclosure. You're gonna be sitting somewhere where the water is perfect. The fucking music is similar to the music you listen to. The people are similar to the people that you used to because everybody's a tourist. You ain't really exposed to no locals unless they work there. And the worst of all, you paying American prices, you paying tourist trap prices for everything. So for somebody who's only like been to places like that, then hell yeah, I would see why you would have that perspective that y'all spending all this money, which again is pocket watching. But I mean, I understand why y'all got the perspective y'all have if y'all only doing resorts or if y'all only going to other places that are expensive as shit. There's a reason that certain celebrities, not saying that they to be idolized, but it's a reason some motherfuckers go totally off the grid and they end up in the fucking mountains somewhere. They end up in the valleys or in a rural area with goddamn it cows and chickens crossing the road and shit. It's a reason people do that because once they exposed to a world outside of this materialistic shit, all once they experience like a sense of ego death, I'm gonna make another video on that too. Then the things that apply here, you gotta learn how to wear different hats in different places. And it's real hard getting back acclimated once you get back to the crib because some of the things now this is my experience. I can't say this for everybody, but some of the things that were once important to me ain't even really that important. Or it don't appeal to me no more. I do like nice clothes, I do like nice cars, but I'm not finna break my neck for that shit. Like I don't I don't understand why people do that after being somewhere outside the US. Like, I think you should come back to the crib and be able to live more humbly. But if you're going to other places and you gotta be in the most expensive hotel, you gotta have the biggest villas and the biggest yachts and all this shit, then you just repeating the same cycle. Like I got back to Chicago sad, not that I had to leave. I was happy to be back home. I was just sad that the hoods, like the more poverty stricken areas in Chicago, ain't peaceful. Like some poverty stricken areas in like there's violence everywhere, but the level of violence here it don't make no sense, bro. Like it pisses me off because I would like to live in a cheaper area. I would like to not have the overhead costs that I have, but I'm basically paying for safety. I'm basically paying for there's a level of convenience there because I'm closer to everything that I do. I'm closer to the gym. I'm closer to work. I'm closer to all the shit that I like. But in terms of like financially, man, I would much rather live in Inglewood because it's cheaper. But ain't no way I will be caught. I don't want to say dead, but ain't no way I will be in Inglewood because you basically paying to you paying rent to be living under gunfire. Yeah, Robert know what I'm talking about. And I haven't even been that many places. Like, I can only imagine how I'm gonna feel after this Kenya trip. I'm not saying I'm gonna want to be, oh, all right, take me back to Kenya. I don't know, but I'm not afraid to go out there and experience something different. I want to go see places just to say that I've seen them, and I want to find out where I belong in a sense. You know what I'm saying? As a single man, I feel like I belong wherever I lay my hat. Like I'm not really tripping over where I'm at the time, but if all I do is stay in Chicago, if all I know is Chicago, then that's a disservice to myself. There's too many other places. Like it's too much other shit to do out here than to just do what we know how to do out here. And that's all I would say to brother Jap. Like, I could go somewhere with Jap and he that nigga. He that dude. You walk in the club with him, he that dude. Everybody happy as hell. Oh, Jap, what up, my nigga? Like, he that nigga. But having that luxury, would you ever go somewhere where you not that nigga? Would you ever be willing to go somewhere where you just a regular motherfucker? Now, based on your swag and your game, you're not gonna be just a regular motherfucker. You're gonna be you wherever you are. But the question I'm posing here is, if I want y'all to understand things from a perspective like Jab, like if it ain't broke for him, why would he fix it? If he that nigga, why would he even waste his time going somewhere where he ain't that nigga? Even if a billion motherfuckers on YouTube like, bro, go over here, you gonna like it better. If he don't if he think he good where he at, then why would he listen to any of us? I'm cool with the nigga, and why would he listen to me? He won't, because he like, yeah, nigga, that's for you. And I respect that. That's cool. Another thing, with the whole game shit, my idea of game is different. I think what people were saying is have a sense of charisma about yourself, have a sense of confidence, and we can illustrate we can demonstrate that in different ways. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that. Sometimes it's based off your personality too. If you're an extroverted person, then it's gonna be much easier for you to be an outspoken person, because part of your personality, part of your makeup as a part of your social characteristics is to be heard all the time. You're an extrovert. You have to talk. You derive energy from interacting with other people. Everybody ain't like that. I'm an introvert. So I derive my energy from being left the fuck alone sometimes. That don't mean I can't talk when I need to talk. That don't mean I can't spit game when I need to spit game. But the shit is draining for me. And I don't expect the extrovert to understand it. Like, if I'm talking to you, I'm not saying this to be like cocky or nothing, but if I'm talking to you, bro, I'm doing you a favor, because I would much rather not even be talking to y'all. I would much rather not be talking to bitches. Just suck my dick. Stop talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't an extrovert. But if you enjoying somebody company, or if you really rocking with them, like I'm rocking with y'all in this chat right now, then I don't mind talking. But generally speaking, everybody not a fucking extrovert, bro. Everybody ain't trying to be dealing with this game goofy shit. My idea of game right now, the way I want to apply it, because I do see use for it, I do see a necessity for it, but it ain't to be getting pussy. I'm trying, I'm trying to spit game to. I'm trying to spit game to the people on the other side of these desks at this school. I want game in the classroom so I can give me a good fucking grade. I need game with these human resources departments, because motherfuckers act like they don't know if they want to hire you based on their feelings instead of your credentials. You need game for shit like that, bro. You need game to negotiate contracts. You need game to make moves and get shit done, to pull strings and navigate through society. That's what game is for. To me, that's why I want to learn game. That's why I want to be charismatic. That's why I need these bitches smiling in my face. That's where my game is going to be utilized. But in terms of getting pussy, no, man. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Nobody who has experienced a transaction such as pay to play in a place where it was in his favor. would have time for that shit. And another thing, if you're not traveling, then you looking at the dating versus prostitution thing, you looking at it in an American context. What do I mean by that? If prostitution was legalized here, what would be the first thing that would happen? The prices ain't gonna drop. That shit gonna stay. It's gonna be expensive as fuck, and niggas is still gonna travel. Why? Because you disrespecting me with them prices, bitch. I'm not paying for that shit. You know what I could get in another location? I'm talking about in terms of housing, lodging, food, Wi-Fi, whatever. I can get way more of my money's worth. I can fuck way better bitches than you. You not worth it. So it would take time for things to regulate. It would take time for things to be deregulated, my bad. And it would take time for that reality check to seep into the dating market. Like once females be like, damn, niggas is really out here buying pussy. Like they gonna make fun of that shit for a good 2-3 years. And half of the bitches that's making fun of it gonna be selling pussy under the table. Nigga, I already know. And then what's gonna happen? Motherfuckers gonna start openly selling pussy. And from there, all of the dating shit. Oh, I need niggas. I just posted on Facebook. Somebody asked, is $350 for a first date considered expensive? Now, I think that was a joke. I shared it out of satire. But imagine if that was a real question. What if that was a real question motherfuckers is asking nowadays? Is $350 considered expensive on a first date? And, you know, everybody on my Facebook kind of have fun with the shit. Hell yeah, that's expensive. You can get this and that. Bro, I wouldn't even answer a question. Like, I wouldn't even entertain that question in real life because that is so disrespectful. That's like, who the fuck is you talking to? Like, what? I wouldn't even spend that type of money in a relationship, honestly. And that's at this point. I have before in my blue pill days, but now, no, man, because I know I have better standards for myself, and I know how to move my money. I know how my money can stretch, and you can't take that knowledge away from men once they have it. The reason I'm making it specific to men because I feel like women is on this game already. I'm not excluding women from information. Y'all welcome to listen to this. Y'all welcome to have this discussion too. But y'all know this shit already. Women know this shit. It's certain shit they not paying for. That don't mean they don't want expensive things. Chris Rock said it. A man sees something expensive and be like, I gotta find out how I'm gonna get that, how I'm gonna pay for that. And a woman will look at something expensive and say, I gotta find out who gonna pay for that shit, who I'm gonna find, which one of y'all goofy ass niggas I'm gonna find to buy me this. Even if they got the money. Why? Because you a fucking goofy. Which one of these goofy niggas I'm gonna find to pay for this shit? That's how it go. Don Gordillo say resorts are for families. Yeah, I've said that before too. I always recommend if you want to take your friends and family, not friends. Well, yeah, that's true too. Because I've been to weddings at resorts. But yeah, that's like Disneyland. That's where you take your family, the wife, the kids. That's an escape from work. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't a vacation for no single man. I wouldn't even argue that that's a vacation for single females because I guarantee you, like, if it's a girls' night out and they go to these resorts, no, let me take that back. They're going to go to resorts for the prestige. You know, they got to take the selfies saying, look, I was here. They got to, you know what I'm saying, have the pretty glasses with the pretty little fruit decorated around it and all that good shit. But if they in Jamaica, they might get some Rasta dick. They might get some Caribbean Stella got a groove back type experiences, and it may be in or outside of those resorts. But what do we tell the brothers? We tell them, oh, that's, you know, yeah, man, I'm about to take the wife on it. Like you're not allowed to go outside the country unless you got supervision. Yo, what's going on, Super Trips? What's going on, Lady Lie? I kind of already made my rant. I'm telling brothers what I think about this bullshit I'm being pulled into with the with the dating. What is the new topic? Tricking equals simping. I don't know who came up with that, but I did watch Jap's first video on the Brazil, the Tariq Nasheed in Brazil, and I agree with him on that. I understand his position on that. He's upset with Tariq. That was for y'all that was tagging, messaging me. I don't think that was directed towards me at all. Like, he ain't talking about me. He ain't talking about y'all, really. Maybe he was in the Brazil thing. I don't know. But the Tariq Nasheed thing, if I was Jap, I would be mad at him too. That I told y'all, that's like finding out Santa Claus ain't real. Like, you've been looking for gifts and goodies and believing if you're a good kid, then motherfuckers know who naughty and nice, all that good shit. Then you realize that was your mama buying you shit for Christmas, putting it under the tree. It's the same shit. You've been looking up to this Mac nigga that's been writing books and writing raps and just and under the pro-black act and all that. Come to find out he been to Brazil before and the motherfucker down there taking pictures. Not spitting game to hoes. A nigga that is capable of spitting game. Why is he not spitting game in Brazil? Why is he sitting around like eyeballing bitches instead of just going clean in? I agree with Jap on that. That's suspect as hell. But you can't do that to a nigga like me. Like, I don't pride myself on being some pickup artist. I tell you, like, oh yeah, I'm finna buy the shit out there. Walk in the club and instantly start tricking. And I joke about it so much to the point where the female friends that I do have, people think I can't have female friends. Or they think that it's abnormal for me to befriend people that I'm not fucking. Let me say this too. I would encourage brothers to learn a different language. That's what I'm working on doing. And if y'all, especially talking about spitting game, first off, you're not finna spit. How can you spit game in another country where you don't speak the language? Y'all can't even speak the fucking same language. So ain't all that spitting game shit is dead. If you see a Tariq Nasheed in a Portuguese speaking country and he don't speak Portuguese, then what's really going on? But if you do speak another language, think about this, bros. If y'all speak another language, it don't matter what language it is. Your opportunity to the people that you have access to speaking to, it opens tenfold. What do I mean by that? If you only speak English, you can only speak to people that speak English. Google Translate only take y'all niggas so far, bro. But if you speak, for example, English and Spanish, maybe you can speak to that young lady that speaks Spanish. Whether she in America or a Spanish-speaking country, it don't matter. You have the opportunity to converse with a motherfucker that you at once upon a time couldn't even interact with. Y'all couldn't communicate with each other. So all this, and this applies to women too. If y'all want to get all the game and back and shit, let's talk female language. Let's talk about soulmates and stuff like that and romanticism. You mean to tell me that if you learn another language, you're not opening doors to have a romantic relationship, to have a intimate interaction or encounter with a person that you otherwise could once upon a time not communicate with? Do that make sense what I'm saying? Like, if you learn another language, you're not restricted to people that only speak English. You can speak English to people that speak English, but if a motherfucker, what if the fucking soulmate, the love of your life, if y'all believe in that shit, what if this bitch is in another country? Or for the ladies, what if Juan or Rodriguez is in another country and this dude is made especially for you? That motherfucker believe he like the same shit you like. He got the same values you got, but y'all motherfuckers don't speak the same language. How would you ever know? How would you ever know that person exists or that y'all even connect on that level if y'all can't even get the basic foundations of communicating with each other out the way? So if you're only speaking English, then you can only spit game to the ratchets. You can only spit game to the motherfuckers that your type of slang, your type of accent resonates with. You limited, bro. And I'm not saying this to make people paranoid, but once that clicked in my mind, I was like, oh shit, nigga. Like, business wise, in terms of relationships, however you want to look at it, man, just being multilingual will enhance your life. It'll open doors for you in different ways. And for niggas to be sitting here on the internet shaming men for traveling or shaming men for whatever in terms of trying to challenge themselves and do something different or do something outside of the status quo, that's insane to me. That's sad. Lady La, I know you got a guy, but I'm just saying, if you spoke goddamn in French, then you could get over there in Paris and and you motherfuckers will be loving you. It's just another option. Yo, Super Trips, what's going on, bro?
What's good with you, MAB?
Man, chilling, man. Long time no see, no hear. I've been kind of occupied with school and family and whatnot, but I'm trying to get back into this YouTube shit. But I gotta play catch up with what everybody talking about, and people been messaging me about this. I guess the whole tricking debate. Y'all like that shit, man. Everybody like talking about that.
Well, there was a little, I guess there's some friction, and I don't know who it was aimed at. I saw Yes Jonas. He made a response as well a couple days, actually yesterday, I believe. And I think essentially it all boils down to individuals who have no experience on a particular subject but have so much to say about it. Like if you've never traveled, like how do you have an opinion on traveling when you've never left the country? You see what I'm saying? And if you've left the country for, let me see, like if you go to, say for instance, you went to Mexico, or maybe you went to the Bahamas or something like that, and you went for a little, like a little 4-day, 5-day, maybe even up to 7-day vacation, and you never left the compound, you stayed in a resort where it was safe, then
Right.
you haven't traveled either. You haven't traveled.
You just stepped out of one bubble into another.
Yeah, you haven't traveled. So if you haven't traveled, and for those individuals that never left the compound, you haven't traveled. So you don't have an opinion on traveling when you've never traveled. You see what I'm saying? Now, see, I've traveled. I was actually in Europe for over a year straight, not broken up, over a year continuously. I immersed myself in the culture in Germany. So it's different. I've been back several times to Europe. I've been to different countries in Europe. So I've traveled. And so for people to have an opinion about travel, it's an automatic assumption that because you're traveling, it has something to do with, especially when you're talking about black men.
I think it's judging people based on the context of where they know them at. So if it's American guys that shaming them other American guys, like they basically looking at how you valued here as opposed to going somewhere else where you got an advantage. And let me ask you this question: do you think hypergamy policing is a thing? Because I ain't trying to make up words here, but that's kind of what I see it as.
So what we're looking at, well, I mean, I guess it can be hypergamy, but we're looking at it from a different perspective, because we're actually talking about men looking to date up, and I think that it's more or less, it simply put, is dick policing. But
yeah,
at the same time, now this goes into an even bigger issue, because if we go back just earlier this week, there is a big issue about Tariq Nasheed. I believe it's Tariq Nasheed, or maybe it was not Tariq. What's the other guy? Not Tariq Nasheed, but what's the Dr. Ahmed or Ahmed Johnson?
Dr. Umar, you talking about with the stripper, the conscious stripper?
Okay, so with him, I guess he made a comment about individuals and interracial dating. And basically how if you're interracially dating, or if you're dating someone who's non-black, then you're essentially you basically he no longer respects you, and you really can't be about the black conscious community, or back whatever about the black community. So when you look at people who travel, say for instance you're going to Brazil, everyone in Brazil isn't an Afro-Brazilian. There's people in Brazil who are actually more European, or some people who are more Latino,
right?
Or, indigenous Indian influence. So when you look at it from that perspective, again, that goes more into dick police. And obviously if you're somebody that travels, right, and you start to mingle with the population, sometimes you're going to be mingling with people who are not necessarily black. And the people who are of Negroid or African descent, they don't share your same culture and value because they're from a different country. So are they really black too? Just because they kind of look like you?
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what exactly is black? Because I would go to another country, and I don't discriminate. I don't like if I find a chick attractive, I'm gonna get at her regardless of her skin complexion. But for the people that's fixated on skin complexion, what if it's a black chick that don't speak English? What if we the same complexion, we got the same African ancestry, but she just speaks Spanish? Like, is that me dating interracially, or now she not black no more? Like, what's up?
And see, that goes into a very big. This is a topic that would probably take several hangouts to even really unwind. No, really, because we're
Yeah.
talking about what is black. There's so many different opinions on what is black, and if you ask one particular group or somebody who represents the opinions of a particular group, I guarantee you there isn't one person that can give you an answer and that can actually be consistent with his responses, his or her responses. Because, say, for instance, some people say that, okay, the black Israelites, they state that your ethnicity or your race is determined by your father.
Hmm.
So think about that for a second.
Yeah,
So
if they
if
narrow it down to that, then that's like I get what you're saying. That's gonna start a whole nother debate. And some motherfuckers don't even know their daddy, and they talking about who they where they.
this is what I'm talking about, people who do not even know. Okay, now let's take it even further, right? Say, for instance, okay, MAB, right? You got a sister. I don't know. I'm just hypothetically speaking. You got a sister that's black, right?
Right.
So your sister that's black, she meets a white guy, and she has a child with this white guy, right? And so technically speaking, that child will be a white child, even though the
Yeah.
child is half black, right?
Based
But
on their
then,
logic, yeah.
but now that child is a male. So now you have a male child who has a black mother, but he's considered white because his father's white, right? Now, this individual child meets a black woman who is 100% black or very close to 100% black, and they have a child. Now, the child that they have most most likely will be phenotypically black in appearance. You
Yeah.
may not even be able to discern that that child has any Caucasian lineage
Right,
in their
right.
bloodline, right? But that child is supposed to consider themselves white.
It's right, right.
You
That's
see what I'm
that's when,
saying?
yeah, that's when you could if you could. That's what I like doing. Like I could make an exaggerated scenario because it sound people don't like you doing that, but you actually forcing them to look at their own reasoning and see the flaws in it.
But MAB, is that really an exaggerated experience in America? Is
No,
it
it
really?
happen all the time, and them people.
Exactly. This happens. This is a reality. Especially, see, a lot of people look at their situation where they live at. Okay, now MAB, you know, I live in Seattle.
Right.
Okay, this entire area, you can walk out right now, and you will see, you'll be surprised. It's Asian men with black women. It's white men out here with black women, and you see it frequently. I went to this one restaurant, and I swear, listen, I'm not even lying. It was so many black and Asian couples in this restaurant. I couldn't believe it. It was probably at least about, I could see at least maybe about 15 black and Asian couples of different age groups too. Some were older, some were younger. So when you look at things from that particular perspective, now you're looking at people, especially if you're talking about somebody who's maybe if somebody has a child with the Hispanic, right? Now that child is going to definitely come, like the first generation of that child is going to come out looking African American. They won't
Yeah.
even look mixed at all. But now that child's supposed to consider themselves not African American. So this is my issue with that whole. You know, we have to define, first of all, when we talk about getting on code, right? We have to define what exactly is black before we can say let's get on code, because we have to be able to confidently include and exclude certain individuals from the requirement and accountability of being on code. Furthermore, when we talk about bingo code and excluding individuals who are not black, right? So we say, okay, well, because you had a child or you're married to a non-black woman, right? Or you're married to a non-black man, you can't be part of this black community. But what about their offspring, right? So now their offspring are going to be brought into the fold as well, because now, because their parents can't be included, the children can be included as well. You see how illogical
Even if they black as
that
hell.
actual argument is?
I've been seeing it, but I'm just and most of the people that make that argument, I don't even think they think that far into it. They just talking.
Well, I
Look,
think most of their
yo, what's going on, Rude? I see Rude in the chat.
oh, Rude MP.
Look, I ain't even. I'm glad you brought up that context because I never heard that talking point from the who you say this from the Hebrew Israelites to say that.
Yes, I've actually heard them say it myself.
Wow. I was thinking more along the lines of what if I'm black, I live in America, I speak English, and I go to Kenya and I meet a bitch that's blacker than me, and we fall in love, and she speaks Swahili. Now I'm coming back on YouTube telling y'all to learn Swahili and shit. Like, is she as black as we still consider black? Or if I go to a country and now I want to learn Spanish so I can talk to a female that's just as black as me, but she just so happened to have been born and raised in a society that speaks Spanish. Like, is she any less black?
Well, check this out, MAB. Again, according to some factions of black Israelites, an individual from Africa, right, is not black because they're not technically an Israelite. See, the Israelite are people, or the Hebrew Israelites are people of the diaspora, and they specifically specified about 10 countries where you'll find high concentrations of Hebrew Israelites. Among the countries are, say, Puerto Rico, Brazil, North America. So these are some of the countries. So there's people like, say, for if somebody comes from Nigeria, Nigeria wouldn't be considered an actual Hebrew Israelite, and so that would be considered dating interracially.
That sounds like some. I mean, no, I'm not saying that they wrong for drawing boundaries along who they identify as Hebrew Israelites, but it do have like a element of eugenics to it, like the way that they feel like if you're not from this lineage, then like everybody outside of us is less than.
Or especially when you're talking about individuals who are of the diaspora, especially those of us who are indigenous to the United States. For instance, I am a descendant of a slave, right? So if I'm a descendant of a slave, if you go back far enough, there's probably a Caucasian or Anglo-Saxon male who is a progenitor.
Yeah, I've always said that we all are descendants of slaves and masters.
So we are sons of our fathers. So if we go back further enough and we have a male in our lineage that's not black, what does that tell you? See, we got a lot of issues that we got to kind of work through when we start talking about what exactly is black. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
And then we think about this. Think about this for an example, right? So we have people who say that blacks should stay with blacks, whites should stay with whites, Hispanics is Hispanics. Now, what exactly does that mean to be black? Well, when you talk about black, you're talking about a set of characteristics, both cultural and phenotypically, right? And so in order for us to share those characteristics, there has to be a common ancestry. So if you go back farther enough, you'll find that we all derive from a specific location, most likely in Africa, right?
yeah.
And so what that means is that because we share a common lineage, we share more common ancestor. Sharing more common ancestry means that we're somehow related, very distant related, but we are related nonetheless. So conceptually, to argue that blacks should stay with blacks is in essence incest. I mean, it's a stretch, but when you
Well,
think
yeah, I
about
know.
it from a logical standpoint, what is your argument? See, my thing is this, right? If I date a black woman, it's because I find black women attractive. I'm not gonna date a black woman, oh, because she's black, I feel like I gotta date her. No, I actually find black women attractive. Now, for individuals who find particular ethnic groups attractive and they find other ethnic groups visually unappealing, right? If you say, well, you know, I would respect you more if you say, well, I don't want to date non-black women because I don't find non-black women attractive. I can respect that. But when you say we should date them because when you think about this from this perspective, we're gonna go a little bit deeper. We're gonna offend some people when I say this, but when you look at the amount of single black mothers in America, right?
Mhm.
So if every black man were to say, you know what, we're only gonna date black women, who's gonna be stuck with the single mothers?
That's the whole point. Like if you ain't getting it in first, then you just taking the leftovers. And it's
Yeah.
your fault because you ain't spit the right game, or you ain't the right type of dude. You need to improve yourself. I'm not saying that's my logic. I'm just saying like that's what's not being told. That's the other half that ain't nobody saying.
Yeah, and
At
then
least
you have
that's what I derived from. I wanted to ask you this though, because this was stuff I was talking about earlier. Do you think men and women are wrong for utilizing each other's biological imperatives? Like, is it wrong for a man to use female hypergamy in his favor? Or is it wrong for a female to use her sexuality or even manipulate guys using their ego, to have things in her favor?
well, I think it is fair. I think the problem is that we've gotten so far away from the essence of what it is to be mankind. And what I mean by that is we have certain, I mean, we recognize that especially in an industrialized, highly industrialized capitalist societies, there are certain things that are the essence of humanity that are counterproductive to capitalism. And for instance, right, when we talk about hypergamy, right, true hypergamy, when we look at the origins of mankind, there are just certain men. This goes into natural selection. This is beyond mankind. This is all life forms in particular, right?
Mm.
Certain individuals will not pass on genetic material because for whatever reason they're deemed unfit either by nature or by other biological individuals that they seek to mate with. So what that means is that hypergamy means that there's going to be men who have 10 women and there's going to be men that have none.
Exactly.
But see,
I
this is
said,
the this
my
causes
bad.
this causes chaos and conflict because the men that can't find women lash out. And so in order to quell the masses, they push the agenda of, getting married, getting hitched, and the amount of money needed to, you have to buy this expensive engagement ring and this expensive wedding. So it's almost financially impossible by American standards to have multiple wives unless you're exorbitantly rich, because you got to pay, you got to court and woo each individual woman. And so it's by design, because if you have one man with several women in the household, it becomes very efficient, and your actual operating costs for that household go down dramatically per capita for the amount of individuals under one household versus those same individuals living individually. It would be more expensive
Well,
for them to live on their own.
what I'm asking is like before it even get to the wedding, before it get to a woman even selecting a man, like just for a man to attract women, is it wrong for him to use an economic advantage in his favor? And the reason I'm asking is this: in response to, I ain't watched all of the videos from Jack, but I did see the one on the Tariq Nasheed thing. And like I said earlier, I agree with his position on that. I know he was pissed off to find out that one of his heroes went to Brazil and wasn't down there spitting game. But my thing is, if if we're gonna be mad at brothers for traveling to other places where they have an economic advantage, therefore they got hypergamy on their side, then I would use that same logic to say that if you make 50,000 a year, then you shouldn't be talking to no female that make less than 50,000 a year. If you make 100,000 a year, then you should not be using any form, because that's what you're telling me. You telling me that it's wrong to use hypergamy in your favor. So you should only be dating somebody that's evenly yoked in all regards. That makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, and I think that is a fair assessment. I think especially for men living in the U.S., men that live and date in the U.S., it is actually to your advantage that you seek out a mate that is not only equally yoked, but who actually brings more to the table. Because even a woman who's equally yoked, if you two were to get married, you're gonna lose in the court system. You're gonna lose. So we know that, and we've
yeah,
seen examples of men getting married and then getting divorced and then getting screwed by the court system. So we know that as a man, in order to have a safety net, you should pursue a woman who actually makes more money than you, because she'll be less apt to actually pursue you financially if the relationship were to dissolve.
That's not the argument I'm hearing. I understand that part. I mean, because shit, if I could pull Oprah Winfrey, I would, even though I wouldn't even be attracted to her. But I get that part. That ain't the argument that I'm hearing. And let me respond to Ghost and Wild Black. I wasn't saying Tariq was one of my heroes. I'm saying he was one of Jap's heroes. Jap said that he looked up to him. For Tariq to be one of the people that take pride in being a Mac. You know, to find out that the nigga is a Mac in the U.S., but he went to Brazil, I could find that being troubling to a person like Jap. That's what I was saying. I ain't even familiar with the Mac, Mr. Redskins. Those Mac lessons were classic in high school. Yeah, that's all I was saying. He said Jap was, and look, I ain't mean to say hurt. Like I ain't trying to use no shame tactics or nothing. I was saying, Jap, go watch his video. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Go watch the video where he said where he talking about Tariq Nasheed, because y'all was messaging me, and I don't feel that video was even directed towards me. He is throwing everybody in the same bucket, saying that, you know, niggas should stop. And he said he gonna put an end to international tricking, which that's laughable. But I'll side with him on the whole Tariq thing, because that's fucked up. Like to grow up liking to grow up trying to emulate yourself to be like a nigga, to find out that he doing something totally different from what he said he was doing, I would be pissed off too.
So basically, he's saying that Tariq Nasheed was anti-tricking.
Yeah, he said that he was, you know, Tariq, he had like this whole period where he was like super pimp, super Mac, and all that type of shit. And he didn't know that Tariq Nasheed went to Brazil. So it's a video of Tariq Nasheed, and I'm answering King Sigma question too. There's a video of Tariq Nasheed in Brazil taking pictures with women that there's no evidence that he's spitting game to. So I ain't say he was tricking, but he ain't down there watching the sunset. You know what I'm saying? He ain't down there just chilling. But that was an old video. You could tell it was a long time ago. And he talking about Copacabana, and he's looking at chicks walking up and down the street, up and down the beach or whatever. And it's like, nigga, you supposed to be making fun of people like me for doing shit like that. You supposed to be the pimp. Remember, you the Mac. You can't be out here like that. And so that's why I said I understand why Jap will be. Let me stop saying hurt. Let me say he was pissed off to find out that one of his heroes is doing the same shit that he's saying that he disagrees with.
Well, I mean, it's just like, you know, usually it's the people who are most vocal about certain things who secretly indulge in the things that they're most vocal about. Just like
they make fun of, yeah.
People who speak about, who are like staunch adversaries against child pedophilia. They end up finding some scandal.
the Catholic Church.
Yeah, they find some scandal and they end up getting caught up with some child porn on the computer, some kind of weirdo shit like that. Or just like people talk about gays all the time, they end up finding like that. Whatever that senator, so one of his aides walked in and he was having sex with some young guy that he had met. So it's like just certain things like that. Just like people talk about tricking all the time, they end up being the ones who secretly be tricking.
Basically,
because I guarantee you, right? Look, let me tell you. I guarantee you, all it takes is the woman, your ideal woman, to get
the
you
baddest motherfucker. Yeah, I already know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, all it takes is the ideal woman for you. Okay, because certain guys like certain types of women. So maybe you like a woman with a big, gigantic ass, with a little bitty waist, a super pretty face, super toned legs. Like it could be the baddest chick. Now all of a sudden, like all that shit that you said you wouldn't do goes right out the door.
I can give you another like that's a easy. I would say that a lot of dudes would go under them circumstances, but even if they never see their baddest ideal chick, if you go to one of these places, and I'm not saying that the guys would do it, but if they just for whatever reason ended up in a place like Sasua, for example, you don't have to. I told Solo that too. You ain't got to go down there buying pussy. You can do whatever. You a grown man. You can do whatever you want to do. But when it's getting late and you walking around looking at all these dudes walking with 2 and 3 bitches on their arms, and you talking about I gotta spit all this game. I ain't paying for no pussy. You don't have to. But I'm just saying, when Bernie Sanders walking around with 10 bitches on his arms, you trying to figure out what the fuck going on, like that's what it is. Like, don't go there if that ain't what you trying to do. But wait, King Sigma, I wanted to go back. He say, let me tell you all a secret. In the manosphere, a lot of dudes talk big real pill shit, but the right woman be batting her eyes his way and she will expose the blue pill in him. Facts, bro. Facts. Like I always be real cautious with how hard I go on females because I know deep inside I'm still soft for certain chicks. I'm still respectable. That don't mean I'm gonna let them finesse me. That don't mean I'm gonna let them like treat me any kind of way. But I can sense it in my tonality. If a chick get on the panel right now, my voice will change. You know what I'm saying? Or I may be a little more considerate of how I'm speaking. I'm not saying everybody do that, but I'm just saying I know myself. So it ain't no sense in me lying to y'all. But a lot of niggas do. A lot of people get on the internet and that's what I was saying about the whole Brazil trips and stuff. Like, why is people? No, they ain't doing it no more. But I'm saying, once upon a time, everybody was saying all you got to do is travel and be black. And I would always think I was like, man, it's something they ain't telling me, man. It's something it's something that ain't adding up. And this is before I even went anywhere. So once I what first happened to me, like I said this in other videos too. My first time in the DR was in Punta Cana. I went to a wedding, so I was in the resorts. That's why I know what the resort experience is like. And it was fun. All you can eat, all you can drink, you chilling with family. You never really talk to locals because you hanging with the people that you know. And I had people reach out to me on my way back, and they was like, "Oh, I saw you was in the DR. Have you ever been to Sasua?" I'm like, "No, what's that?" And they was like, "Nigga, like, come on, like next year, I want you to go somewhere with me." And shit, it's been history ever since. But I don't know, man. A lot of guys, they would much rather have you believe that they just showing up somewhere and they just so cool that the pussy is just falling out the sky. And I'm not saying that's impossible, but a lot of times that's truth mixed with falsehood.
If I can interject, if you don't mind.
Yo, what's going on? I can't see who that is. Just join.
Oh, hey, it's Wooten, Robert Wooten. What's up, man? But now, what you say? Listen, I'm not some Mac. You know what I'm saying? I ain't some you know, playing it like that. Granted, I was married for 10 years, so I'm relatively new to being single, but I digress. You know, one thing people, especially in America, they don't realize, like they live in a bubble. Their mindset is limited. So like, if you're living in France, if you're living in, you know, Okinawa, like there's a whole society and culture going on over there as well. So it's like they try to take their mentality and their ways over here and drop them off over there and think like they're just going to pick up where they left off or they're going to be elevated, you know, to some certain status. It's like, no, like once you leave that country you're visiting, like life is going to go on. Life was going on before you got there. So like there's a whole different structure. You know what I mean? It ain't a video game where you can just put in a cheat code and hop in and have 100 lives, and it ain't Grand Theft Auto. You know, you actually got to put in work if you want to.
Yeah.
Cheat you.
And some people are shattered by that. Some people, you know, it make them feel bad, but for me, it kind of gave me a new challenge. It gave me something to be inspired about. I mean, I'm telling you, I had other languages and in high school. I didn't care about that. I was just playing Pokemon and shit. But like now, I actually want to learn. Now, I actually want to interact with people, and I'm learning that, like you said, you're gonna be the same dude. Whatever you still gonna be you, but just knowing that you can go in different places and have advantages and disadvantages, why would you not explore your options? Why would you stay limited to what you know? Like, I know Chicago. I know how motherfucker. That don't mean I won't never fuck a chick in Chicago again, but I know what I'm fucking if I'm fucking. Why not go
Like that
somewhere?
with me.
Well, my bad. What you say?
No, I was gonna say the caveat. What I was saying now, the bulk of my 11 and a half years experience of living overseas was connected with the military. So I've seen both sides of the coin. Where like some guys never leave the barracks, the dorm, or leave the base, you know, and I see other guys that like it totally immersed and lost in the sauce, you know. So when I was over there, you know, I live, you know, Europe, X number of years, Japan, a couple of places, but I was married, man, a family man, and I don't regret 1 minute of it. Things didn't work out the way I thought they would, but you know, I saw some other guys that were single, you know, and living the life. Some guys that didn't take advantage of opportunity. I didn't take advantage of it full scale like I wanted to, or like in hindsight, like I could have, because my mentality, my goals were different. But now that I'm red pill aware, you know, I still got some. I'm lavender pill, you know what I mean? I'm getting crazy red pill. You know, I ain't gonna front. You know, I ain't no liar, man.
Hey, I say self-awareness is better. It's like, don't let the red pill community police us either, because you know some guy. I think that may be just male. A man's need to be competitive with each other. Like, we all found a way to circle jerk with something. So first is like, stop simping, and then it becomes like this: who can be the hardest on these hoes type of thing. Like, you don't really have to be either way or the other. It's just, as long as you know yourself and you know what you want to be involved in, what you're not going to allow yourself to get involved in, and that's your strength right there.
Exactly. Take and pull what little bit you need from each one.
My strength when it comes to females is cutting motherfuckers off. Like, my strength is, I ain't got the pimp hand. My pimp hand ain't that strong. I ain't really the type of dude that's good at cussing motherfuckers out. A bitch would just be like, damn, what happened to him? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I tell them that up front, like, hey, I ain't going to argue with you. I'm just going to move on. And when motherfuckers see that you can move on just like that, then usually they'll come correct, and they'll kind of see ahead of time. A lot of times when people see you making certain moves, like, they already know what you're capable of before they get involved with you. For example, it's a chick that's always telling me, you always traveling. I always check her like, no, that's the only time that's the only time you paying attention to some shit I'm doing. I'm telling you right now, it's a lot of times I'm just sitting in the house. There's a lot of times I'm at the gym. It's a lot of times I'm walking. Like, you know, I'm doing things that's not really impressive. It's just little everyday shit. But the only time motherfuckers is really paying attention is when I am traveling. So I'm glad that you know that. I'm glad that you got that perception about me. So now you know, shit, if your ass get the tripping, I'm just going to get that word. Yeah, I'm right. Catch flights, not feelings.
What's going on, Marcus?
Oh, what's going on, Rube?
What's happening, panel? Super Trish, Preem. What's going on, brothers?
What's going on?
I've been kind of out of the Scoop on YouTube, so I'm still playing catch up with
What's up, man?
Hey, for 1 second, one second, Marcus, 1 second, if you don't mind me, man, I want to talk to Preem 1 second and let him know that I didn't. Don't take that the wrong way. Yesterday, I didn't come at you like that. I just didn't want. I didn't want what you were saying to become the norm. I wanted to cut that off right there on the spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you deal with the individual, leave their family out of it, no children, no nothing, and everybody should be able to, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to put pictures of you and whoever, and nobody should go after that. You know what I'm saying? So I understood where you was coming from. I just didn't want that to, because these motherfuckers start believing that that's okay. You feel me?
It was all a blur, brother. It was all a blur. And again, not to get off subject, but that's just the reality of when you put yourself in the public sphere. Everything is game. Everything is game. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong.
Like, could y'all kind of bring me up to part on what y'all talking about?
but honestly, MAB is way off subject on your topic today. So that's your call. I'll let Rude, if Rude wants to go into it, I'll let him go into it. But it's way off topic. But it's your show, brother.
Nah, it was some crazy shit that happened last night on Reg the Bad Guy channel. Like, so you just go to it. You go to it and watch it. His latest videos, hang out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't want to get off subject either, man. We talking about something good right now, all right?
So yeah, but if any of y'all want to chime in, I kind of was ranting early. I was just talking about this. Y'all could say dick policing. I was calling it hypergamy policing because now it's on a whole new level of us actually policing on what type of female you should even be talking to. Like, is it okay? Is it okay for me to drive a certain car and talk to a female that don't drive that same car or that don't make the same type of money or what? If we in different lanes, are we trying to establish a caste system? That's what I'm asking.
You talking about like control? Like, are you trying to have control of a woman?
Yeah, I guess I should explain for the new people in the chat too. So people been messaging me on Instagram and Facebook saying you need to check Jab, you need to check. I talked to Solo. Solo made like a survey, just asking brothers like, is tricking simping? And so I didn't know nothing about what nobody was talking about. I'm like, y'all gotta give me an opportunity to watch these videos. And today I was saying I saw Jab's video on Tariq Nasheed, and I agree with him. And I know Jab, like, I've talked to him, I hung out with him. People think that I know YouTube want to see us go back and forth, and we know that. So we'll talk. We'll do like a hangout, but we also disagree with each other. Like, I don't expect him to agree with me. He don't expect me to agree with him. But what I'm trying to find out is if it's wrong for brothers to travel to other countries where they have an economic advantage. If that's the talking point, like, why would you go somewhere where you spending your money and the dollar is greater than the peso or the real or whatever? I'm gonna tell you, if that's the game we playing, then should we be playing that same game here? Like, are you?
I'm gonna tell you what it is, Marcus. All right, like, be truthful when I say this, all right? Okay. To all you guys too, be truthful and think about what I'm about to tell you. What do you think about a guy who played basketball across seas compared to him not being able to play in the NBA? How do you look at this dude?
You think he less than the person in the NBA because you think NBA is top notch?
That's what I'm saying. That's the condition that we in, dog. Like, we don't know. Like, I heard Preem and Nagone and yourself, man. See, we don't know this shit. See, we stuck in this shit, dog. Like, a lot of guys who don't have passports, don't travel, we stuck. And we think that where we at is the end all be all, man. Until, like my man Preem let it be known, you could take a trip to goddamn Colombia for $200 some and rent you a nice Airbnb for $25, man. See, I would have never thought that shit, and I would never thought, me personally, I would never thought that I deserved no shit like that. Like, it'd be like, man, that shit too good to be true, man. But I asked Preem and I asked Nagone again. I said, so you telling me that we can be low-key millionaires in other people's countries and shit? And these guys talking about, hell yeah, man, you get you a 10,000, 20,000, you could be a multi-millionaire in these other countries. And it seemed like it's something missing. Because if we can go there and be millionaires, and we fucked up for the most part. I don't know you miss on financial situation, but I'm saying we fucked up based on probably not just millionaires and billionaires in this country, but we can go somewhere else and be a millionaire. It's like, well, damn, what are my people in America gonna think about my ass if I do that? If I pull that big ass move and go get all the bitches, be damn near probably a low key politician running the goddamn country. Like we can go to Haiti and run that bitch. But what the fuck these dudes in America gonna think about me? Are they gonna think that I sold out, or I took the easy way out, or I couldn't cut it in American culture? You feel me?
Yeah.
My cigar guy is closing shop today, going down to DR retiring. So old white dudes, so they been know what time it was.
That's another thing. I said we late to that party anyway, because ain't nobody really think policing the Australians and the British guys is down there. I mean, it's shit. If y'all think interracial dating is something to bitch about up here, like go somewhere where it's a bunch of old white dudes walking around with young Haitian chicks or with young.
It's a fear.
It's a fear. I'm gonna go and put a little spin on this, and pardon the ramble, but I look at it from the standpoint of leverage. Leverage is something that is perfectly okay to do. Everybody does it. Everybody should do it. People leverage things. You should leverage yourself. If you can leverage yourself financially, leverage yourself physically, if you have good characteristics or traits that you can leverage that would advance you or advance your cause, you should. So if over here he's middle class, he's earning 50K, but he can leverage that income in another country, or let's say he's a black man over here, he's an average dude, but if he was to go overseas to Thailand, if he was to go to Europe, to Amsterdam or Belgium or Brussels, where they love black men, then he should go ahead and leverage that. Me, for instance, and I think Super Triz, it was a couple of hangouts ago, he dropped that, and he spoke truth to it, and that he said, listen, this is who I am, so I got certain assets, and I mean the way he broke it down on how he leveraged his unique assets and characteristics in the game, and the numbers and just the return that he got by just, okay, this is who I am, this is what I am, and I'm gonna leverage this. So when he was hunting, he was very accurate and precise, because like, for instance, me, I'm a 6'1", dark-skinned brother. Broads who like light-skinned dudes aren't gonna feel me. So I don't feel a certain kind of way because I don't appeal to every type of woman. I know what type of woman I appeal to. The ones who like dark-skinned dudes with smooth skin, they like them looking a certain way. So when I was in the game, I would leverage that. I would leverage my dark complexion. I would leverage to make sure it was smooth. I would leverage my height to make sure I was built, because that was an advantage to me for a certain type of female. So when the brothers are like, listen, over here, I'm a certain type of dude, but if I can go over there and leverage it, then why not? Everybody does it. It's perfectly okay. And for anybody who thinks, there's something wrong with it, or try to, shame somebody for doing it, they can just go kick rocks. And I yield the floor.
Can I grab you off of what Prince? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I understand it.
No, go ahead, Robert. My bad.
I'm new to this. This is my second stream ever, and so I mean, period. I did one with another guy I know, but the piggyback what Cream said, it's true, because like I made the comments earlier, you don't have any movies that are the male versions of Stella Got Her Groove Back or Eat, Pray, Love. And if you look at the author of Eat, Pray, Love, her life is now in shambles. The dude she was with at the end of the movie, she divorced him. She was with some lesbian relationship. The dude she was with at the beginning of the movie in real life, he was a blue pill guy, which, correction, I was that guy before. I'm not going to talk bad about him. He wanted a family and all this and that. But what I'm saying is they don't get shamed, for lack of a better term, for what the thing that we're talking about, going, correct, what you guys are talking about, which I agree with, going overseas, living your life, traveling, enjoying, and again, a lot of stuff I talk about is, I may not have personal experience, some of it I do, but a lot of it is secondhand experience for me actually being overseas and seeing people live their life. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not going to front like I'm some.
Hey, Robert, you Marcus Prince, Super Triz, man, it's like this, dog. Like real shit. I'm coming at it from me being ignorant long time ago and not knowing nothing. what I'm seeing when I hear brothers like you talk is you niggas, y'all talking about leaving us in this motherfucker, man. That's what we see, dog. Like, bro. Now, real shit, man. I'm just telling you, like that fear of, bro, don't forget about me. Like, look, the reason why I know this because I've seen, like, even my children would do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember my son, and it shit made me real sad, dog. He thought I was gonna leave him for real because I left the house. He was like, Daddy, don't leave like that. And I was like, what? That's what you're talking about, coming right back. And but how he said it, it made me look at it from the situation with you guys. It's like, man, Marcus, dog, bro, don't leave us in this motherfucker, man. Like, goddamn. You see what I'm saying? That's what it all come down to, dog. I don't think nobody can refute me on that, fool.
Like the reason
I'm the opposite. I'm staying here. I was overseas for 11 and a half years of my life. I'm back in America. I'm in the States. I'm trying to chill here and see what the 50 states, well, the 48 states, because I lived in anyway, to see what has to offer here. So I ain't going nowhere, man. My passport expired. I ain't going nowhere. So
I ain't going nowhere because, I mean, despite all the shit I might talk, I still love this country. I do view it as the land.
Oh, hell yeah.
And an American passport is powerful, so I don't want to renounce no citizenship or nothing like that. I was laughing, Rube, because like I went to the strip club with one of my guys, and niggas kept asking me was something wrong with me. I'm like, no, I'm good, bro. I'm chilling. I'm at the bar. I'm talking to the little people at the bar, and I'm ordering drinks so that way I could be a patron or whatnot. I could, you know, spend some money. But I'm not paying for no lap dance, and that's what he came to do. So he was kind of like, man, you ain't the same no more. Like, he said, man, what about old girl? I know this your type. I'm like, yeah, that's my type, but it ain't. You know, every dollar I'm spending, I'm thinking about how that shit could be spent a different type of way now. That's all that is. But it was that same look that, like how Rube's like, niggas be like, don't leave.
Bro, don't leave. Hey, bro, don't leave us, my nigga. Where y'all going, bro? You gonna leave us in this bitch, bro?
I mean, shit. I was in the strip club right with him, so I ain't went nowhere. I'm just there because of the guys. I'm like, I'm here to kick it with you. Shit, I'm not giving a fuck.
You gotta understand this, man. Like me, I'm in Texas, so the nearest city where I can go to where I can see a lot of water is Galveston, all right? But you gotta look at these other guys like Chicago. Yeah, you got water. We talking about like a body of water, like the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific Ocean. So when you talking about places like Brazil, that's the Pacific. I mean the Atlantic. My bad. That's the Atlantic. You got Jamaica. All that's the Gulf of Mexico, bro. It's that water, man. Niggas seeing that water shit. Like, bro, look at all that goddamn water. Look at them trees. Look at that fresh fruit. Look at that good old food. It's like, bro, you gonna leave us in this shit, man, eating this bullshit, bro, and you ain't gonna tell us how we can go about doing that. And you know I got a felony, so I got to be in this motherfucker at least another 10 years before I get a passport. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, all that water you niggas around.
That's something that I think is not being talked about. Cause shout out to damn, I forgot dude's name. One of the guys, he stay in DR right now, and he got a channel called Off the Grid Vlogs. He was on here. He helped brothers with backgrounds and with like child support issues and stuff. He said that there's ways that they can still travel, they can still get their passport. But if
drop that link.
Yeah, if brothers don't say that, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop the link for King Sigma. But if brothers don't say that that's the situation, then they can't be helped. Like you know, if they got a felony or if they got some issue getting their passport. But
see what it look like when you look at guys like yourself and Preem and Nagone and Charles Tyler, RIP to Charles Tyler, man, and guys who move like that. It's like you niggas, y'all coming up with the strategies on how to go about doing things, how to book hotels, how to book flights. But you niggas ain't saying nothing about how we can expunge these goddamn felonies first so we can try to get at least $100 passport. You know what I mean? Like we looking at it like, bro, go ahead, Preem.
No.
Asking you shall receive. If they ain't saying like this is my issue,
exactly,
don't nobody know to help them with that.
Exactly, and also as with anything, just self-initiate and start the process. Just type in a Google search bar, how do I expunge a felony? How can a felon get I hate to say this way, I'm just ad-libbing, but how can a felon get a passport? Just punch it into Google and just start the process, start doing the research. I don't mean to sound like a Jesus freak, but the way that the big man upstairs works is as soon as you put your pinky toe in and you start moving along the process, he'll meet you halfway. He will always
True.
show up. You got to start the process.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready to start the process too, and that's in anything.
But
Hey, man,
I gotta jump in here. I gotta be honest. See, a lot of these cats, they not built for travel. Just point blank, period. Because when you traveling, you're gonna be out of your comfort zone. See, a lot of cats can't even go in a different type of club. They can only go to the same type of hip hop club in an environment where they're comfortable. They can't step out of their comfort zone. So how you talking about traveling when you stuck in the same vibe, even in your home state? You understand what I'm saying? Some of these cats don't even want to leave their neighborhood. You talking about traveling overseas somewhere? It's unfathomable for them.
that travel shit, Super Trish, man, is that travel shit. That travel shit, man, it's a real touchy subject, man, that y'all boys speaking on, man. And niggas ain't taking that shit well. I'm telling you what I know.
Let me just go down the rabbit hole really quick. I promise I'm only gonna be like 20 seconds to pick back off of what Super Trish said. I was watching a brother's channel. He used to be called Power by Nature Herb Wellness Guru. He lives in the DR. He's from Detroit, and he did a live stream. And somebody posted there, it's like, you know, because he's a fitness guy, and he was saying a lot of times what happens with diets is that it's really easy to lose weight. Is you burn off more calories than you consume. End of story. Drop mic, walk away. That's it. On a daily basis, you burn more calories than you consume. But what he says, what happens is that people will add so many steps to it to overcomplicate the process. That way, when they do fail, they have an out. They can be like, well, there's no wonder why I failed, because it's so damn hard. So but they kind of, I don't know if it's fear of failure or fear of success. Pick one. I don't know shit. But it's kind of picking back over what Super Trish said, is that sometimes people will be so comfortable in their comfort zone that they may put up these imaginary obstacles to why they can't get there, because they don't. So subconsciously they really don't want to get out of their comfort zone and not yield the floor.
Yeah, niggas buying time.
It's not for everybody though, and I think that's one of the things when you talk about these travel topics, which is so good. Cats got to start understanding the best thing that I've seen happen to the Black manosphere is that the Black manosphere fractured into reality. We found out that you know how the Democrats had this big tent where they want to be everything to everybody. What you found out in the Black manosphere is that since I'm newer in 2018, it seems like prior to 2018, everyone was kind of like under a big tent, like, oh, we're red pill, we're Black manosphere. And then something triggered in 2018 where you found out that there was like several different lanes of people out here, man. Like one of the biggest things that's coming out this year is the travel topic. And you found out that at the end of the day, man, it's a lot of Black men out there that hate the very idea of another Black man that looks like them, that comes from similar conditions, and that's had all the opportunities as them, but they're actually doing something different by stepping outside of that American plantation, stepping outside of that box that other forces have forced you into. And and so obviously it's going to be like a low-hanging fruit situation where you're going to attack those that are easy to attack. They're not going to say nothing about those white men that are married, got 2 or 3 wives, got kids that are grown, that's over there in Thailand with 15-year-old girls, right? They're not going to say nothing about the Japanese men that fly to Russia. They got women back home and everything, and they over there banging out supermodels. It's only the black-skinned man that when we begin to do things that other groups are doing, I swear, man, we're like, the Black man is like standing in a circle and the whole world has guns aimed at him, bro.
Yeah, bull ring.
Yeah. That's what it is. Like, we are the world's scapegoat and we're the world's target practice. But you know what's happening? The rabbit is finding his way to that gun now.
Got that gun. Ain't no fun till the rabbit got the gun.
No fun for all these enemies of the Black man anymore, because the rabbit realized, shit, maybe I gotta get a gun. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where we're at right now. And it's kind of like, I saw the post that I was looking at my IG, right? I only use my IG for DMing bitches. That's it. Like, I don't use it for no other purpose. DM bitches, that's it. And I look at my fucking DM. You cats ain't gonna believe what I saw. A broad who is some kind of Silicon Valley tech chick. She's like a Latina, right? And she's like a founder of one of these apps. I'm like, okay, let me look this bitch up. So I go and I look up on Google. This chick is in 4 magazines for one of the richest under 30 years old. And I'm sitting there like, let me go ahead and like keep this one on the hook. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the black man is in a position that this technology is putting us in to do great things that have never been done by no black man in history. And so, of course, you're going to get a lot of flack from all parties, and that includes those black men that look like you, because just because they look like you, y'all don't have the same spirit. Y'all don't come from the same class. Y'all don't have the same ambition. And that's why I tell people straight out, I'm not a red pill guy or a blue pill guy, because in order to understand those pills, we have to take the individual's history. So it's like we talk about super select being at the top of the pyramid. We talk about select being right under him. Then we talk about the semi-select. Then we go to non-select. And then we go to straight incel, right? So that's kind of like how you got to look at each individual man. Is he a super select dude? And the super select dude is that guy that he don't got to have game. He just has a genetic gift of looks enough that he could just fuck bitches. He could fuck his best friend. You know what I'm saying? So as you work your way down there, that's going to tell you a lot about a person. Then you got to look at a person's talent. You got to look at a person, because it's all of this is spectrums, like your charisma, your charm, your looks, your status, your money, your knowledge, man. But we try to put everyone in these solid boxes. So that's how we start talking about this tricking and pimping thing, right? So if you're just looking at it as black and white, then you're going to throw people in either one or the other box. Me personally, I don't choose to trick because I'm turned on by the challenge of breaking abroad down mentally, man. Like that's my thing. Like some people.
Hey,
I got a question, Sigma, because I don't knock brothers for that, but I want to know why does it disturb some brothers that it's possible to do both? For example, I ain't never rule out talking to chicks, but I might talk to
if you got it.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying like if you could be a hybrid, you know what I'm saying? If you could spit game to a chick,
like I just said, Marcus, they don't see. That's what you just made a good point. Like I just said, it's a binary. You got to understand how the human brain works. We're told that we can multitask, but all the information in the science is saying that humans are not good multitaskers. That's why binary paradigms are so easily to manipulate the emotions of people. People have a built-in thing in themselves that has evolved over time that they can't process multiple scenarios. They can only process good and evil, black and white on the most part. Of course, those people that spend the time developing their logical thinking skills and their analytical skills, they are able to break out of that binary way of seeing the world. So those cats want to keep it like that because they're simple. These cats don't see the world as multi-layered. They want it to be black or white. I don't see the world like that. I know that there's cats out there that only can trick. I know there's guys that got pure game, don't need the trick. And I know there's guys that are situational with it. They'll trick if it's convenient and they'll mac if it's convenient. I understand that totally, but I'm not going to project my way of seeing the world on other men. And I think that's kind of.
And then we also have to go ahead and make this point because I mean, truth be told, I think it's kind of disingenuous sometimes to use the word tricking so generally because there are some men who value their time, and to them they kind of look at what would be the end game of me, doing this, running this game, going, doing this mac and doing this. The end game is to go ahead and bust a nut in this broad or bust a nut on her back. You know what I mean? If I can cut out all the other shit and still achieve that end, at a discount, swipe this card or who do I pay? You know what I'm saying? So to them, it's a numbers game and they value their time more because that frees them up to go ahead and do a bunch of other shit. So me personally, I'm a cerebral guy. I'm right there with King Sigma. I like challenges. I like the 9,200 octanes. I like the woman that quote unquote intimidate the men at her job. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started looking at my chops. I like that challenge. That's me. To another guy, that's not worth his time. You know what I'm saying? That's not worth his time. He doesn't get off on that. He gets off of busting the nut on the broad's back. So to him, if I can get to that end and get to that end with a broad who probably looks 5 times better, you know, and I can still reserve my time to do things that are in my self-interest, then where do I pay? And here's my card, you know. So yeah.
Well, for me,
it's the same thing as going to a restaurant, Preem. You feel me?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know,
for me,
sapiosexual. Go ahead, Super.
I said, well, for me, you know, I mean, and I can appreciate a guy, you know, that likes a challenge, you know, and can rise to the occasion. But I don't want a challenge. I don't want to work for shit. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want to compromise, even though I don't want to work for it. I like women that are fine, but I like them easy too. So, you know,
But
some
Super,
guys,
you've admitted that you're a grenade Mac, though. You've said that.
and on top of that off, you know, I'm, you know, as far as tricking is concerned, and Preem, you made an excellent point. When you look at the amount of time, like especially if you're a man, say for instance Bill Gates, right? Just use him as an example, right? Bill Gates, an hour of Bill Gates' time is probably equivalent to $117,000. So if he got to spend an hour talking to some broad, then he got to ask himself, is she really worth $117,000? Probably not. So I'm gonna pay her $200, and we're gonna get straight to the point. I can understand that. But see, for me, I don't care how much money I got because I'm stingy. I'm selfish, and I don't want to give a bitch shit. So that's the reason why I'm anti-tricking. Now, as far as somebody else tricking, I'm not the one to say, oh well, look at this nigga tricking. I'm not trying to judge anybody else for doing it, but I have my specific reasons for not wanting to trick because I'm just selfish, and I'm real aggy about giving a bitch anything.
Yeah,
I get mad when we go on a date. Like I went on a date with this Samoan chick, right?
Yeah.
Now this Samoan chick gonna tell me, she's like, yo, you know, I'm gonna take you out to dinner, blah blah blah. This, that, and the third, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then when it come down to it, right? All of a sudden she like, oh, well, I'm about to catch an Uber. I said, Uber? You supposed to be taking me to a date. Now you talking about you about to catch an Uber? I said, no, I'm gonna meet you there. So then she get the Uber, and I get my car. I meet her there, and then when we get there, we have dinner. You know, I order what I want to order, blah blah blah. And, you know, and I'm cognizant of the fact. I'm like, okay, well, she taking me out to eat. I'm not gonna go overboard. I'm gonna get something reasonable because normally I'm gonna get some wild, but I got some reasonable, right? But then when the bill came, she like, okay, so so you gonna pay half? I'm gonna pay half.
Well, wait. So she told you that she was gonna take you out and pay, and then she tried to do like split the bill.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Now I started to walk out on her right there. Wow. But you know what? I said, fuck it. I paid my half. She paid her half. I said, all right, then I'll see you later. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Hold up,
Super. Now, what happened after that? Like after y'all did this, like after she flipped on you, you split the bill. What happened with the broad afterwards? What was the post?
I don't know what happened with the broad. She texted me a couple of times, but I didn't respond because see, it's principles with me. I don't care how fine a chick is. It's principalities up in this motherfucker.
See, what happened is that at that time she didn't like you that much. She didn't like you that much.
Huh? No. She had been calling me and you know, after the fact, you know, and matter of fact, that night she wanted to go do some other shit. But see, I'm already salty because I already had it in my mind that she was gonna be taking me out. Like if that was the case,
that's bogus as hell.
I would have ordered what the fuck I wanted to order. So, but see, like that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like it's the principle. Like I could have easily paid for my meal and her meal. You know what I'm saying? Like money ain't a problem for me. I work hard for what I make. You know what I'm saying? And I make good money.
But you shouldn't have to pay for a meal because she specifically said she was bringing you out to pay. So why would even the thought of you paying for a meal that wouldn't even be a thought because she invited you out to pay?
But see, this is the mindset of a lot of women.
Women make less than patriarchy and all that crap.
What?
Yeah, and she think that just inviting you to the spot is like a grand honor or some shit, and you're supposed to be happy.
Exactly.
But he said that
I was being sarcastic.
But she specifically.
Yeah, it's just little games. Like if it's little games. Like if it would have been like super strictly transaction, it would be like, well, are you paying for this before I even make my way down there? But then see, that take all the love and romance and all the pretty shit out, all the magic out of the transaction.
Yeah, you're right about that transactional. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm so opposed to tricking for me personally, because I don't know, man. Like the term that they use in psychology is sapiosexual, right? Sapiosexual are people that because I had this conversation with ARC recently, and we were talking about mode 1 versus mode 2. So according to him, mode 2 is a guy like me who enjoys like seducing women. Like I enjoy seeing a woman, seeing if I can get her number or not. Like monitoring my mind as I progress during breaking her down, and then watching as we go from just hello Texas to sexual text to her begging me to go out with her, and then to me taking them panties down, right? I enjoy the whole process, and then I like to watch after I bang her how to like really suck her into my frame, right? I enjoy that. ARC calls that, mode 2. You dig? And that's where I'm at. So for me, transactional sex, it takes out the excitement for me because I actually get turned on. I'm talking about like I get turned on by, in my mind, trying to figure out if what I'm doing is going to work or not. And then when I actually have her in front of me, I love it. I love it, man.
Is there any brothers on the panel that don't enjoy that disagree with that?
Super doesn't agree with it.
Oh, well, I mean, he can explain why.
Well, here's my thing.
I explain those. I enjoy those things too, but I can switch from that mode to, oh, I like that bitch. How much? I can switch to either one. It don't matter to me.
Well, see, it's not that I'm so much against the whole wooing a woman and courting a woman, so to speak. I mean, because obviously, because I'm such a cheapskate, I have to do that stuff, right? Because I don't want to pay. But the problem is that the actual transactional sex is what turns me off. Like I literally, because I would say probably maybe around 2001, 2000, probably around 2000. I was stationed in El Paso, so we would go back and forth to Mexico. And so me and some of my Army friends had decided to go to Mexico, and we was going to go to, get some prostitutes, right? And I'm young. I'm probably like around 18 at the time, maybe 19, somewhere around there. And, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it, whatever. And I had never done it before. And what I found is that, like, the actual physical act of, like, having to give a woman money, it completely turned me off. Even when I was attractive, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I realized right then and there, I can't really get aroused once I have to physically hand over money to a woman.
So Trish, so Trish, sorry for the interruption. Let me ask you this so everybody's clear. So, there were kind of two modalities going here: the transactional sex, which is on one side, and then the art of the seductional sex on the other side. But if hearing you correctly, you're definitely not for the transactional sex, and the seductional sex is not worth your time or effort. So where are you? What's your hybrid?
Yeah, that's why I said it was tricky. I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
What I will say is, seductional sex is I do it reluctantly. I rather. And here's why. I feel that sex is mutually beneficial. A man and a woman both have physical arousal, physical pleasure in the act of sex. So why do I have to do more in order to obtain sex than a woman does? That's my whole mentality, and that's the reason why the whole art of seduction, I do it reluctantly. Yeah, I do it. I gotta do all that. I gotta do all that sucker shit.
I know the answer to that.
Me too.
I know the answer to that. I mean, it's real simple. Like the answer to that is because at that moment, she hustling. Like you want to do something that she don't necessarily want to do, because you could easily fuck some of them for the free or for nothing. Just because they rather be bothered with you than be bothered with some other nigga that's blowing them up.
Right.
But it's just a matter of, and then I want to clarify one more thing, and you can say what you want to say, friend, but like, I think a lot of people that may be listening to this outside of like the sex tourism, they may not know, like they may be looking at prostitution from, when we say transactional, when I say transactional, I'm thinking about like the whole robotic type of thing. That would turn me off. Actually, handing over some money, that don't really. I give a bitch of money. I give somebody money for a massage, and that's how I look at the same thing.
Were you always like that, Marcus, or did this come about at a certain place? I'm trying to understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like my psychology. No, I've always been like that because I've always looked at a service as a service. Like, I looked at it as I look for contradictions in things that are socially acceptable here as opposed to other places. And what I mean by that is I don't mind giving somebody some money for a service that's completely what I want. What I have a problem with is giving somebody money for service that's half-ass or something that I didn't completely want.
You already had that spirit though. See, I think and see that's what I was getting at with that whole like
yeah, I can understand some people they can't fathom that. They think like, you know, that's beneath them or that's like beta male-ish or something like that.
I don't even care about the beta. See, I don't even care about that beta male shit. I'm tired of this beta male.
Well, I'm saying, not like the talking point. These are things that I hear most guys say. This is like they knee-jerk reactions, and I could explain it for people that care, but for people that it's gonna go in one end out the other, they not really caring either way. But all the transactions are not robotic. It ain't like a motherfucker just laying there like a dead dog or some shit. Like that's that American shit. That would happen in a place here.
So when you do these transactions, so you said it don't happen like that. Like I mean, so how does it happen? How do you exchange the bread? Because
you're the customer. If a motherfucker say something you don't like, you fire their ass before they even get hired.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just let y'all hold that lane down because I can't understand it. So I guess it just ain't my lane or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I know Preem was trying to say something. I just wanted.
Man, yeah. While y'all was talking, something else came to mind. But Triz, let me throw this other one back at you because I'm still trying to get clarity on it. So if you're not for the transactional and you're not for the abductional, and let me just put this little caveat there. For me personally, the whole abductional part, the end game to that for me is not about the sex itself, because I don't really need to go through that to get to the sex. Is a much bigger picture to what King said as far as pulling a woman into his frame. I'm about owning women's souls and their spirits. I'm about like a soul collector. I'm about capturing their soul, their spirit.
I like that, Preem.
Absolutely. Like a Dracula type of motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. And what the sex does is the sex is key to take them to that level. You know, but you have to set it up. But anyway, I digress. But back to you, Trish. So if you're not the transactional and you're not the seductional, would you say you're more of a Tinder type, like a Tinder thing? So where it's not transactional, it's not seductional. Beforehand, you guys already have an upfront contract. We are gonna be fucking at the end of this thing. So we may go eat, we may go dance, we may go watch a game, but at the end of this thing, we more than likely it's an over 90% chance that we're gonna be fucking because that's how we met. That's what this shit is all about. So are you more of a Tinder type of deal, type of that? Super Triz? Super Triz.
Triz off tricking right now, but
I have myself on mute. My bad. No, what I was gonna say is I'm about to make up a word y'all never heard of, but kind of just bear with me. I'm confuckmational, not confirmational, confuckmational. And what does that mean? That means that I need confuckmation before I invest any more of my time in you. So when I meet a woman, it's like, okay, let me see where we at with it, and then if I'm still interested, then we can go out. So a lot of the women that I've actually had the longest relationships with, I've had the shortest courting period with. Because a lot of times what I find is that I may do all this stuff to be with a quarter woman and take my time and 2 weeks later finally we do something. It's like, oh, this is what I was waiting for? I waited 2 weeks for this?
Now, are you spinning plates at the same? Because for me, see, the reason why seduction has always worked for me, because I was reading about that stuff back in college. You know, I read a lot of that shit. And for me, the reason that it works, because I don't even worry about all that, because I constantly, every time I walk out in public, there's a bitch getting at me. I don't even be really having to do all that much hollering at hoes these days because they usually start a conversation with me and I just choose if I want to continue the conversation. So since 16, I've never not had multiple women, even when I was married. That's why my marriage failed, because I just couldn't be monogamous, bro. I could not be monogamous. So I don't think seduction is for everybody. That's how some people turn into blue pill simps, because they are trying to seduce one woman.
Yeah, one-itis.
And that's going to fuck you up every time, bro. I'm going to tell you, because what's going to happen, because we're spiritual creatures as well. We don't have the emotional chaos that women tend to have, but we can get drained in by a broad as well as we get to, because we will start projecting out what we think she is if you just got one girl. But if you have multiple women at all time, you ain't even going to be on that string of thought about that one girl. You might send her a text this week, but then another girl is hitting you with a text. Then another girl you're going on a date with. So you might have forgot you even sent the other broad a text until she hit you 2 weeks later.
Well, see, my thing is,
I agree with that. I wanted to tell King Sigma something too, because it's kind of like a follow-up to another discussion we had. But I used to didn't be like that. I used to get one-itis. I used to, I talked to different females, but once I was interested in one and I saw she was reciprocating that, then I focus in on her. Now I don't do that. Now I can spin plates, but one of the reasons I was able to do that, and one of the reasons I've become more cognizant of that, is because of the dark triad thing that you told me to be careful with.
Yeah.
Like King Sigma, he telling me, he like, man, if you got a good spirit, don't fuck it up. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to see the dark side a little bit. He was like, well, be careful with that shit. But I'm telling you, like, talking to some chicks, I got a few motherfuckers going back and forth with me now. But if you spent a lot of your time being a blue pill guy, then you gotta, like with King Sigma mentioned, he do that naturally. He don't even have to think about it. He could be a chick checking for him and he having a good rapport with her. And then as soon as he leave her, it's another girl in his face, and his game just rewind. For me, when that happens, I get stuck and I'm like, damn, I got two bitches that like me. Like, what I'm about to do? But now I'm like, okay.
You know what helps you get over that though, Marcus? Just remember that
doing it. I'm over it now, but I was just laughing. I wanted to tell you that because
I'm talking about, you want to hear some black pill stuff though that'll really get you over it for sure. Just imagine that girl is spinning plates as well.
I was gonna say bitches ain't shit. That helped me.
That's what it really gets you on your shit, because see, too often we as men, like I said, we project a lot. Man, look at dude, this good girl shit. We men have projected this shit on the women, man. Women are not these good angels that you think they are on average. You might meet one out of 100. These women are spinning, man. The average millennial woman has a higher body count than the average millennial man. These bitches is getting dick down. They got access to dick more than you do pussy. Don't even fool yourself. I don't care if you're the most super select dude. I don't care how rich you are. You could never get as much pussy as much as these girls can get dick if they even the 6 or above.
That's the part I had a hard time getting certain dudes to understand. Like some guys, they believe, especially the ones that feed into the whole alpha beta thing, they don't understand that the business is fucking both. The alphas.
Did you hear about Jay Crowder? Did you hear about Jay Crowder's situation?
Y'all
know who Jay Crowder is, right?
Yeah.
I know.
The louder with Crowder guy.
The dude that played basketball for the Celtics and he plays for the Jazz now, NBA guy. Anyway, I'm only mentioning just to back up what Marcus is talking about. But he is in a situation right now where his baby mama is banging Derrick Rose, and another one of his NBA players that he found out, and he just found out, you know what I'm saying? And he kind of exposed her on social media. Now, the only reason I bring that up is because just think about that for a second. These are the black men.
NBA players.
Yeah, these are the top 1% economically. I'm not going to even get into if they're red pill blue. I'm saying from an economic standpoint in hypergamy, they are the class of men that we know for a fact American women are chasing. We do know this. But yet, even still, these whores will still take that and they'll still be fucking other dudes. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's something that I know that even red pill men, they do not want to accept the depths of evil and the unleashed hypergamy. They don't want to think about it. It's scary to think that, almost 90% of these women out here are worthless as far as like building anything with. That's not a good thought for any man, I don't think, man.
Now, you said this was his wife, right?
It was, you know how these dudes be telling you, oh, you're my fiance. We got a kid together.
Were they married?
They weren't married, but they claimed they were quote unquote engaged and they got a kid together from my understanding.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm curious if a lot of guys, well, the kid kind of throws a monkey wrench in my question, but I kind of wonder if a lot of these guys would be okay. Let's say just using that same scenario. Let's say if they weren't married, he was just his girl or whatever, somebody who was banging. If he would be okay if she was banging other dudes that he knew, how many guys would be comfortable with that?
I don't
know that fact.
I don't think it all depends.
I don't think most, man. I don't think most dudes are comfortable sharing a woman unless it's just a side piece or a whole. Because we've all had side pieces.
Well, can I jump in for a second? Can I jump in real quick? Because I had a very unique situation. Actually, I had a couple unique situations. You know, barring the fact that I've dated several strippers, but I actually dated a prostitute that I'm still in contact with. I dated an actual prostitute.
Okay, Drake.
So much Triz. You dated a prostitute. You dated Drake. How does someone date a prostitute?
We got a Drake in the house.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying anything about you personally, brother. But I'm just saying. I mean, you can't. It's like an oxymoron. You can't date a prostitute because she's fucking other people.
Let him elaborate. He's gonna share it with us.
That's an interesting concept. Dating a prostitute. That's an interesting concept.
Hey, let me give a shout out to Solo TV 84. He in the building. Appreciate you stopping through. Wait, so Super Triz, was this knowingly? Like, did you know from the jump?
Okay, so I met this young lady. You know, out and about. You know, and then we got, we exchanged numbers and got in contact, whatever, right? And then we started talking, and and this, that, and the third. And so, I invited her to come over, come chill, like I normally do. And we chilled and stuff like that. And then so she was like, I got something to tell you, because I know you may find out eventually, and it may scare you off. And so she told me straight up that she was a prostitute. I mean, she had a regular job, and she said that she had been a prostitute for a couple years, and and she was trying to transition out of prostituting, which she's actually done now. She's actually transitioned out of prostitute. Now she actually works full time. But at the time, she was a full-time prostitute and part-time, employee. And so, but she would fly out of state. So she wouldn't do prostitute here in the Washington area. She would go to like Detroit, and she would go to Chicago, and maybe you might know her.
No, I don't know, but that's a link. I mean, I know chicks that do that. They take the bus out to Milwaukee and St. Louis, all that type of shit.
It's almost guaranteed that Marcus know her. Almost guaranteed.
She's a white woman with big breasts. She has breast implants, but she has a naturally big ass.
Only way I would know is if she was like one of them popular Instagram type chicks, or somebody messing around with one of these rappers or something.
No. She doesn't do the Instagram stuff, but I mean, she was actively on Backpage back in the day, and she had like big old ass. And
damn! I wasn't never into the tricking in the U.S. I don't do all that.
Oh, okay. So I mean, it was interesting because I actually dated her, and I know that she was she would say, yeah, I'm going out of town. And so she'd go out of town for a particular period of time. But see, it didn't bother me because there were other women that I was actively seeing and actively pursuing. So it didn't really bother me. But she was straight up and honest with me, and and really I vibe with her because for me, I don't get salty because I never actually planned. It's like I'm saying, oh, I'm about to marry this girl, nothing like that. I wasn't in my feelings, so I took it for what it was. I really enjoyed my time with her. I mean, she was a professional, so she was very good at what she did. And she knew how to cook. So it's like we had a good time together. And matter of fact, I still contact her now. I got nothing but love for her. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there was no, I think the problem is when guys have a certain expectation of a woman and then they're let down. They find out, through underhanded means that she's doing something else, But like if you know up front, it's really not a problem to me, especially if I'm not trying to wife her, you know what I mean?
You know, and the way my position on all that is, you know, different strokes for different folks. I'm the last person to go ahead and pass judgment. I'm a pure individualist to my heart, bone, and marrow. Just whatever, you know, rocks the person's boat, whatever they're into is their right, and fuck the world. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know, so I mean, it is what it is, dude. So I hope you don't take my comment that it was anything like you. I just thought it was funny the way it was phrased. You know, and how I was wanting to say I was fucking a prostitute. I was fucking a prostitute for a long time. He said I was dating. I just thought it was just funny the way the words that were used. That's the only thing I was laughing at, bro.
I don't take it personal. I don't take it personal because, you know, like I said, I mean, you know, I'm upfront and honest, you know, about my lifestyle and who I am and what I am. I don't have to, I live my truth, so that way nobody can use lies against me.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, I know I'm not the most attractive guy. I know I've had plenty of women tell me I'm ugly. No big deal. No big deal. You know, I'm used to being dissed. I'm used to being rejected. You know, and so stuff like that. You know, it doesn't bother me. I know. I get in where I fit in, you know? So it's
I can respect that. I can respect that.
It is, yeah.
Big time. Big time.
Hey, gentlemen, can I just say, I gotta bow out because it's my off day. I got some errands I gotta run. But I appreciate y'all letting me come to your platform and share just my little bit of life experience. Appreciate what you all do. There's a lot of brothers out there that don't know a lot. And so I'm speaking on myself. I'm pulling from you guys. So I appreciate what you do, and I'll keep my ear out for all the good information coming out.
Hey, good having you on, man. You know,
yes, sir.
Get that money, man.
Enjoy your holiday weekend.
Copy that.
But yeah, like, you know what, the thing about Super, he's one of those dudes that, like, his mentality is that he's going after his desires, and you can't judge a person on that. My whole thing is the whole dick policing thing. I don't care what the next man does. Just stay off my dick. Cause I never understood worrying about what another man is thinking. Like, that's weird.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I stand. But
exactly.
I think it's a lot of low key, like just deep rooted envy. And I didn't really know about this until I started coming on YouTube these last few months and listening to different guys. And I never even really thought about dick policing or travel hating. This is new to me, man. Cause when I wanted to leave the country, I just left. It wasn't like no big announcement. Like, even when I had posted to Marcus the other day, like, when I leave the country, I'm not telling nobody the next time. Just like like when I go to Rio, I'm not gonna make it no big event. When I go to Tokyo and I go to Europe, I usually, when I go to a place, I already got a broad lined up, bro. Like, a lot of times I be already communicating with bras on social media, so I have like 2 or 3 bras that's already telling me, like, let's link up. Like, right now, I got a girl in London that wants me to come over there, and I got 2 or 3. I got a black woman that's an Ethiopian in Sweden who stay trying to get me to come over there. She works at one of the largest banks over there. So I be already developing my own little constituency like a politician, right?
Correct.
I build my own little constituency. So I don't be thinking about what another man is doing. You know, that's some weird shit. So when I hear these cats on YT hating, it just lets me know that they're jealous of those men that can get a passport with no red tape.
It don't stop there though either, Sigma, because I think that's real strategic.
Absolutely.
To do that. But then even within the community of brothers that do travel, you'll get brothers that are even criticized that much. So it's,
and then, you know what though? But you gotta stop honoring them by calling them brothers. Why do you honor these men by calling them brothers? Why do you do that? Why do you give them that title?
Yeah, really out of respect, but I get what you're saying.
Why do you respect someone that don't respect you?
Look, now you on that dark triad shit. Look, he gonna have me out here thug life in these motherfuckers. Like,
you one of the few good people out here, bro, that I talk to on YouTube. Like, you one of these guys that's doing your thing, man. You're doing your thing. Why are you trying to let people? Why are you trying to raise other people that are trying to pull you out of the boat and drown your ass, choke you, take your boat, and then go off? Man, stop calling these people that don't give a fuck about you your brothers. Stop calling these women that work in all against your interests your sisters. Man, these are not your sisters. These are not your brothers. Your brothers and your sisters are the ones that you don't have to explain these simple ass things to. If you got to explain this simple shit to them, you talking to some low IQ people who are not on your level, and you got to see that you one of these dudes that got that success guilt, man. That's what you got. You got success guilt, man.
You know. I think. I mean, now I know it goes back to the mind, and to a person being like, speak to us super trace, for example, to a person being to having a positive self-image, to being confident in themselves. When someone is confident in themselves and they see another person winning, they don't have a problem celebrating that. This person doesn't have to be winning according to my game or the game plan that I have for me. He's winning according to his fucking game plan. He's living out his truth in his fucking life. So there's no issue in celebrating that. The problem is if someone's self-confidence or self-esteem is not intact, then what they do is they do like a cross-reference analysis, what this person's doing versus what I've done. Where's this person at in this stage of their life versus where was I at that stage of my life? Where am I at now? Oh my God, this person's ahead of me and they're 5 or 10 years younger. They start doing all that other fuck shit. And that's because they don't have a positive self-image. They are rooted in confidence in themselves. So when they see someone else winning, they just can't honestly acknowledge and celebrate someone else winning according to that person's truth. You know what I'm saying? If that person is winning according to their truth, how they wanted to live out their life, it's so fucking easy to go ahead and celebrate that. But if you don't have self-confidence, then you start doing a comparative analysis, and that's where your mind just kind of really fucks you up, and that's where the hating starts, man.
I'm just asking the brother Marcus, man. You know what? As thinking men, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm serious, man. Like, as thinking men, you got to start being very stingy with giving privileges and rewarding people certain titles. Like, I know all of us has come up as that post, civil rights generation. We grew up thinking that we were united based on our color of our skin, because that's what our grandparents taught us, that was passed down. But I got to be honest with you. You got to break off into that road that Preem is talking about. You have to pursue that individualism, because as a big global planet, you're going to meet people who have that same energy without having to provoke them, without having to solicit them. They're going to feel your atmosphere. But by trying to like save these individuals that wish you harm, you're allowing their pollution. Just imagine a clear sky, and then you put like a nuclear waste facility below it, and that shit blow up. Now that sky is polluted, and you got to actually evacuate the area for years. You see what I'm saying?
Let me say this. I do try to respect brothers. I try to see that shit. See how that just happened just now? Like, I try to respect people and treat them how I would like to be treated, but I don't necessarily identify with everybody as family, or that I need to be trying to uplift them all. I want to keep people in my circle that are positive in that type of way, but man, you kind of gave me something to think about there. Like, see, I don't like jumping off the gun, disrespecting motherfuckers. But
that's a Chicago. See, I know what it is. See, like, I think y'all Chicago culture is unique, because I've heard you talk about how in Chicago y'all I think y'all have a very unique situation, and I think that's like how you say I don't want to disrespect. So I see outside of Chicago, it's not disrespect to tell a brother that's telling you, "Hey man, why you going over there?" Tell him, "Hey, I'm just doing me. You do you." See, in Chicago, I guess that's like a violation.
Like, yeah,
that's like a violation. That means you're not dealing with civilized people at all. I don't want nothing to do with uncivilized individuals. Period. That's just me. But I'm glad I wasn't raised in that Chicago culture, because if you telling me, you telling a brother that's telling you, "Hey man, you going over that's some whack shit," and you say, "Oh, it ain't that it's whack. That's just me doing me," and that dude is like, "I'm gonna kill you." like we're talking about some savage, like, broken state type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can see why.
Hey, that's real shit, man. That's fucked up, man.
Man, like I said, dude, I am glad that I was not raised in that kind of environment. I would think that death would be better than to live in a place like that where everything.
But you're right though. It is an escalation. Like if you tell a motherfucker they don't know what they talking about, that's offensive. That's like saying,
"Wow."
Then I don't know what I'm talking. Like if you told me I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say, "Okay, explain it. Like, help me understand." But everybody ain't gonna respond in that way. Some people might be like, "Well, motherfucker,
my manhood, Marcus. What is this shit, Marcus? You question my manhood, son.
It's funny though, cause like it ain't like the Chirac movie where somebody just out they ain't gonna openly say I'm gonna kill you, but niggas try to find a way to escalate some. It's like
bro.
I don't know if y'all ever played basketball. Motherfuckers, whoever win the basketball game, they might get jumped because it's just niggas just like that.
Yes, yes.
What is that like?
Yeah.
What is it like growing up in his
Yes.
And like,
I mean,
Oh my God.
if you know how to move, you good, you safe or whatever. But it's just certain shit you gotta know certain people energy, like when they off.
Exactly.
I'm just going about my way or whatever.
Split the scenes.
you better than me, man. Because I like I said, man, I'm talking about since a young age. So I got brothers that are like typical, you know, hood in the game, half brothers, and we don't vibe, bro. Like we brothers. We got the same mom, man, but we grew up in a different families. Like we got the same mom but different dads, and they on that shit that you talking about, and I don't even want to be around them. We can't even really be around each other because they can't understand my mentality.
Saying that y'all can't disagree with each other, or like they.
You said what?
You say that they vibe like they can't disagree with you on something, or you saying
like we just not even just like we see the world like we just have a whole different paradigm, bro. Like it's like one person is blind, right? In the world, and they got eyes, but they don't see. And then your eyes is open, and you tell them like go left, go right. It's a tree right there, and they just like, man, I don't see no damn tree. Even though you the one that got your eyes open,
right?
Fucking wall right there, or a tree, and they just go walk right into it. Maybe not even walk. They might sprint right into the wall, and then when they hit their face, they looking at you. Why didn't you tell me the wall was there? You know what I'm saying? So I don't even invest time in people like that because I guess coming from a family where I saw that, by the time I got out into the bigger world, I had already dealt with people like that on a regular basis. Shit, I was
you know.
Where you from again, Sigma?
Huh?
Where you say you grew up again?
Well, I spent most of my childhood in Wisconsin, growing up in Milwaukee, and then I moved out to San Diego, and I spent a lot of time in the Twin Cities.
Y'all ain't that far. I mean, you know, Milwaukee, it's a lot of Chicago cats out there. I don't know much about California, though.
Well, California, I can tell you that the thing about
I'm from California.
But you're from Northern California, though, right?
So no, I'm born and raised. I was born in Long Beach. I'm born and raised in Southern California.
See, I was living in San Diego, and I could tell you it's very mixed down there, and there's no you don't have a concentration of black in California or the Twin Cities. The highest concentration I saw was in Milwaukee, and when I would visit relatives in Chicago, like I know a lot of people from Chicago, bro, and I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it is about me in Chicago, but me and Chicago, dude, we just don't vibe typically, man. Like,
yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like every city I've ever been in, Chicago dudes been like the most savage. They've been like the most savage, man. Like shooting up clubs, and I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It ain't even. It's just like I don't know. Something different about the Chicago.
Go ahead.
My dad went to high school in Chicago. He went to college in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up moving to California eventually, and that's where he met my mom. And so, you know, I grew up in Southern California, and you know, the school, like the high school I went to, I mean, it was mostly black. You know, it was black. You know, we had mostly black, Mexican, and Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little bit of whites and a little bit of Asians. So I mean, it was a rough school. I mean, you had to fight. You know, like and me, you know, I'm not the type of person that was just like looking for a fight, but I mean, it changed you because you know that you have that mentality what we call bomb first, and that was the mentality of if you know it's about to pop off, go ahead and get your issue because you know you want to get that first hit because that's going to determine. People look at sometimes like, oh well, you know, you won even if it's a tie. If you bomb first, then you won because you don't want to be the one that look like you timid in certain situations because you get taken advantage of. And so I think that's the reason why, you know, stuff in like certain areas escalate, like you say in Chicago, like stuff escalate because you don't want that reputation of somebody that could be taken advantage of, especially me because I've always been small. You know, I'm 5'8" and I'm a grown man. You see what I'm saying? And so even like when I was in high school, I was even smaller than I am now. So, you know, I especially had to have that mentality so people know not to, you know, push over me. Like I don't walk around with no Napoleon complex or anything.
And I get what you're talking about. That's standard. I don't care if you grew up in the suburbs. You always got to deal with cats that want to bully. I'm talking about what Marcus is talking about. You talking about just general self-defense, knowing how to move out here. and just defend yourself as a man, that I don't care where you go, you're gonna have to do that. But I'm talking about what Mark is talking about. I'm talking about you having a general conversation in the barbershop. You in the barbershop, cats is getting faded up, and you sit in the chair and someone says, yo, what you been up to, MAB? Damn, man, I just got back from the DR. The DR? DR what? Dominican Republic, man. And what fuck you going down there for, son? Oh,
it ain't that bad.
I just went down there just to vibe and do this, and I did this. He go a couple pictures, and then they're like, man, you wasting your that. I'm talking about that kind of crazy.
It ain't like no. The reason I was laughing so hard the first time you said that, because it's like with a direct disagreement, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna kill you.
No, I'm just saying. No, but I'm saying though, dude. Like when I hear cats from Chicago, like when you hear cats from Chicago and Baltimore talk about their city, that's the way they describe it. Because I mean, listen to cats in the manosphere, and the cats that talk about their cities that's being like the most dangerous in Chicago and Baltimore.
Like if you ever watch a fight, if you ever watch some shit unfold and niggas honestly tell you what it was about, sometimes they can't tell you what it was about, and then sometimes it's just so damn stupid. It's so stupid you don't even want. Like, bro, I promise you, G, I literally watched them do it. They didn't fight, but they almost got into it. Over, you good? You ever heard people say you good? Like, and out here,
like they feeling like you got bad energy towards them or something.
Yeah, like you. Well, you can say you good. It can mean anything. You could be like you like these two. They knew each other, and man, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. You like it went from. It was funny because it was like they was making fun of each other. Then it went from are we really fight? They was trying to figure out are they really fighting with each other. But
so at the weekend cookout this weekend in Chicago, you good is gonna fuel about 50
yeah, like even though the words you good is are you all right, like it could also be interpreted as fighting words on some you good.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly.
And for somebody who is not familiar with that type of culture, I guess like we know what's going on, but everybody else is like, what just happened? I don't know. Some guy just said you're good. They start fighting. It's like, no, we know what happened, but it sounds stupid.
But see, that's part of the narrative. Like mass media will take something, they'll be like, oh, man shot over chicken wing. And they'll make it seem like it's something so trivial. But in actuality, you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what Super talking. He talking about when the reporter is on the scene, and you got like some white reporter, and he's trying to do a story. He comes out to the site, and then they find like the most crackhead looking person. And the person, hey, so what exactly happened out here? And then the crackhead person is like, man, I was just standing over there, and Ray, he said you good. And then the reporter's like, oh, he said you were good. And then the other dude, he said you good. And then the reporter's like, so everything was good. Everything was good and good, but they ended up having a shootout. Yeah. This is why the world looks at so much of the black population in America as being primates, bro. And you can't even debate it sometimes.
I want to switch gears a little bit on something that I think was Sigmund that touched on as far as he doesn't speak to like his half brothers, because they have a different mentality. So he doesn't engage in a conversation because you never know how things can escalate. That situation occurred, it was like last week on somebody else's hangout. I wish he was still here in the chat. I mean, on the panel, even on the chat, it was what's rude. Mm-hmm. There was this one broad was on there, and I don't know, she was just being belligerent, to other guys on the thing, and I just wasn't paying her no mind, and I said openly that she's not even worth the resource of my time or even my words, because I just see her as being beneath me. Yeah. And and again, to my whole point, to my credo of to each his own. I respect somebody else's flow is how they flow, and I don't knock it. What works for another man, do your thing, bro.
Hey, was that on Red's platform? Was that on Red's platform?
No, it wasn't on Regis. I wasn't on Regis last week, but what happened was, Rude, he handles shit the way he handles it. And he was like, man, you got to put these, these bras in their place, and then they're gonna respect you. And I'm like, why would I'm thinking I don't want respect from a broad that I don't even respect to begin with. What's good is that to me? How does that benefit me? To even put a broad in check that I don't even have no use for, and I don't respect. I respect her right to exist in whatever fuckery she wants to exist in. God bless her over there, but I don't. There's no, if she gets belligerent, I'm gone. I don't need it because she's not worth my time, my energy, or my resource. But again, he was adamant, not to me directly, but he was adamant that men, quote unquote, generalize it, that men need to do this and do that. But I'm like, bro, if that works for you, if you want to put in the time and the effort to go ahead and correct and put these type of bras in check, God bless you. But they're useless, they're worthless to me. And that's why I don't put any time or effort into it. And I yield the floor.
Me and Rude had something like that the other day as well. That was very disrespectful on Red's platform, and I take the position as you, like, I don't argue with females. You know what I'm saying? And there was some little
exactly.
Some little out of pocket female was coming at Rude, and she was saying these things that was just general feminist shit. And I said something. She called me a nigga, and in real life, I might backhand a woman for calling me a nigga. Like, I don't know what it is, but when a black woman calls me a nigga, I feel it in a way that I don't even know if I would feel it for a white man. Like, that's some very contemptuous shit to say to a black man. So we had like this little exchange or whatever, and it got kind of nasty, but it could have all been avoided because, see, I'm like you. If I have a platform and a woman comes on there calling anyone on my platform a nigga, she's either apologized, she's getting the fuck out. Period. But Rude, he kind of felt like, I gotta check this broad or whatever. I ain't even trying to do all that. Like I told her, because I'm like you. A woman like her, I know in real life is ugly. She unattractive. I would not waste 10 seconds on her, and she wouldn't call me a nigga in person. So I would rather just ignore it. But I kind of learned from that situation that if you're on a platform like that, it's the moderator's job to keep shit under control. Because when you start using language like that, you gotta boot that motherfucking bitch. And I kind of learned from these platforms that when you bring a woman into a male space, and I think Marcus kind of chopped in on this a little earlier, I'm telling you, bro,
there's gonna be problems.
Women can fuck anything up in a male space. It does not work. I don't care.
You know why it doesn't work?
I got a question for Sigma. I'm gonna hold my question. Go ahead, Super Trish.
I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't work. Because when you introduce a woman, first and foremost, it's gonna split the ranks.
Yep.
You're gonna have somebody who's gonna cake for her, and then you're gonna have niggas that's gonna be going at her, right?
Yep.
Number two.
Exactly.
Once you try to quote unquote put that female in check, right?
Yep.
Let me tell you something. Women, once they have their mind set on something, there is no amount of logic and reasoning that will change or sway her.
More belligerent, more louder and more belligerent, and it's going to become a contest of who can speak the loudest on a platform. That's why if I had a platform, bitches gonna hate me.
Well, see, the first thing the woman's gonna do is once she realizes that you're coming at her with logic and reasoning, she's going to attack your manhood to try to get.
That's exactly. I've seen that happen.
Don't even do it.
In these last 2 weeks, I just happened to venture off in a little ancillary platform. So it's ironic that you said that, because I have seen that. I mean, to the female, except for one. But damn near to the female, I've seen that happen. They come there with an argument. And of course, being the red pill brothers that we are, we go with air of quant, we go there with logic, we go there with data, with stats. They can't counter, and it goes downhill from there. And then what I've seen, to your caping thing, is I've seen the moderators. But again, to each his own. It's someone else's house. I'm there as a guest. How they want to run their shit is their shit. If I don't like it, I can get the fuck out.
Yep.
You know, truth be told. And those guys, they kind of like they was damn sure caping for those women. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna yield it equally. But I was just like, whoa. And the funny thing is, this one last thing, this person came up with it last night. I'm not gonna say her name because I want to put it on shout. But right. She said in the manosphere, there are intruders there. We have transformers simps are in disguise. That shit had me dying, man. She said we got simps in disguise up in here, man.
Yeah, she's not lying because she got the same dudes as in her DMs. But I don't even tell people. But I got a couple females, like based on what MAB be talking about having red pictures. I got a couple hoes in my DMs on just from me being on Obsidian's channel, and I kind of peeped that as well. Like these hoes, I'm telling you, bro, they come into these spaces with total. These bitches, I don't know what it is. They are drawn to creating chaos and destruction, man. I got a couple bras that right now hit me in the DMs, got my contact information by me being on Obsidian channel, just starting a random conversation. And you're like, what? So go ahead, Brent.
Oh, and they know, and it's funny because I think it was Nutso who said, but this doesn't apply to these women. It's Nutso who said, yeah, a lot of these brothers claim to be red pill. But could it be red pill in front of a dime? Now he's talking about like a dime, like a beautiful woman, yada yada yo. But I think if I could just piggyback off of that, yeah, brothers seem to be red pill, but it's funny how there's a little shift in the force when you got 2 or 3 women on that panel, it's man, people change, bro. They change.
Maybe ask your question, bro.
My bad. I'm trying to respond to all about the dollar. What's going on, bro? Yeah, I was asking for King Sigma, but I guess I could ask everybody on the panel. What's y'all take on respecting other men on the platform? Because I know y'all say of course you wouldn't let like a female get on the platform and disrespect you. And I get what Sigma was saying earlier about he was talking to me. He was saying stop respecting people that don't show respect to you.
Yeah.
And then you also were saying that you wouldn't even have certain discussions with people. Like, are you saying shut them down when they start some bullshit, or are you saying
it depends on the platform and the moderator? Because I've been on platforms where this is what I notice about men. We can go at each other's throat and calm down and be cool. Like 2 men can really beat it, and then when the moderator steps in, like, yo, y'all shut the fuck up, or you getting booted, and they'll be cool. But see what happens when you have a mixed sex channel, men being logical, like I just said. If me and Preem are arguing about a heated issue, we might be like, man, he's talking some bullshit. And then it escalates. Then the matter like, look, you 2 need to shut the fuck up. Them 2 is gonna shut up. And they will actually at the end of the panel be like, yo, peace out to you, bro. You know, it's like playing basketball. You might throw an elbow, push, y'all might even get into a fight, but afterwards you leave it on the court. But with women, if you have a panel of 4 men and 4 women, I promise you, like Super just mentioned, it's gonna be 2 that's thinking about how they can get some pussy. It's gonna be 1 that got like maybe his girlfriend made him mad that he about to use that on them, and it's another that might be neutral. But the females, they're gonna protect each other. There ain't gonna be no separation. And once that shit escalate, so you might be talking about 1 + 1 = 2, right? But the girl, and you're saying it calmly, 1 + 1 = 2, and she'll be like, nigga, like it'll just. I'm talking about like a Tasmanian devil, like a wild demon. And once they get in that mode,
exactly,
calm it down, because she's gonna say something that's gonna make you so angry that you lose your frame as well.
Dude, I've seen them turn. They go straight into mental cases, and I'm sitting there like, is this shit really damn happening? What the fuck type of monkey farm? And I'm fucking on. Went into straight mental cases, man. Everybody else is trying to be chill. You think it's chill because 5 minutes have gone by. Right. And everybody's tone is monochrome. But like you said, it's like a 1 + 1 = 2. I swear to God, it's funny you said that. It will be so chill for like 5 minutes. And it's just something simple like 1 + 1 = 2. And bam! She went right back to it. And everybody, what the fuck? I thought we was already past that shit.
So I learned that for me, I already don't come on panels very often. I'm more of an observer. I like to listen to you guys. And then when I learn something new, I like to share it with you. And then I just kind of fall back. But I know one thing that I won't do. I don't do panels with females no more, because I'm not really equipped to handle it right. Because me, I don't like a woman talking to me no certain way, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like Preem was mentioning the equals thing. I got to have vetted this woman. I got to have like skin in the game with her for her to even talk to me a certain, like, I just can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like a bitch talking to me a certain way, right? So I'm not good for panels like that at all. I will never join a panel with a female on it that I don't know, that I haven't had prior dealings with before, because she's gonna say something and I'm gonna say something, and what it is that the reason that the women hate the logic is because it's so truthful, and if it hits her, it can trigger her, because you might be talking about single mothers, for example. So she knows she's coming on a panel that's about single mothers, but she thinking, because she's used to dudes just simping, that these dudes are gonna just tell her what she want to hear. But then you start, like me, I'll say something like 90% of all homeless youth come from single parents' homes. Now that's a statistical fact coming from the Justice Department, CDC, and all these people, right? This chick will be triggered. The first thing she's gonna say to you, "What about the father? What about the father?"
Yeah, Cripses, female Cripses.
Yeah, so then you'll say something like, "Well, the reason that he became a father is because you gave birth to a baby that you could have not had." Well, what about him coming inside of me? Well, why didn't you? He came inside of you, but why weren't you on birth control? Birth control makes me fat. And then you say, well, they got other forms of birth control, like just the condom itself or not having sex. I need sex. I mean, it's like, what the fuck is the point? So my whole thing is that with women, she is there to listen to me and observe me. If I want to hear women talk, I'll go to the women's sphere. I will go over to women's channel. Guess what I don't do? I don't go over to women's channel for that reason.
Let me clarify something just to keep it in context, because I understand what y'all saying, but in regards to especially with this topic, I don't mind being respectful to the brothers or the guys. The reason I'm respectful like that is because nobody disrespected me yet. The videos I've seen thus far, the guys is talking shit about tricking and all that, I ain't really took no personal offense to that, to the point where I feel the need to check motherfuckers. I could respond to their arguments, but I don't know. Like, yeah, before this topic was even on YouTube, I was on some whole other shit, because I wasn't really making videos. I was on some listening to Ego Death and new languages and other type of shit.
Right.
I just figured it out, MAB. I just figured it out what the problem is.
What's that?
Okay. The reason why these niggas getting so salty about niggas traveling is because they look at the caliber of women they get and the frequency in which they get them. But then you go overseas and you get a higher caliber of women. But then you get people who are like enamored by the fact that you're with the woman, and they're in their mind, they're like, well, wait a minute. He used the cheat code. He went overseas to get her. He didn't get it legitimately off the muscle like the way I get my women. And y'all don't want to give me my props. Y'all don't want to pat me on my back and give me and make me feel good for the hoes that I get. And so then what these niggas do? These niggas go online, right? And no, but then what they try to do is you go on some of these niggas' channels, right? And some of these niggas' channels try to showcase the women that they come across here in the United States. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that these little women in the United States, they just can't can't hold a torch to the women that these niggas like you and Taylor Made Dreams and niggas and the females like Yes Jonas is getting when y'all go overseas. It's just a higher caliber woman that y'all get overseas, and then not only physically, but we talking mentally as well. And this make these niggas so salty because they know the woman you get still count. It don't matter how you got them. The fact of the matter is that you got them. You see what I'm saying? Just like this, it's like the same argument niggas get when niggas see somebody with a nice car. But man, he leasing that car. I paid for
yeah, I always thought that was a stupid argument. I get what you said. Yeah, the way the people do each other with materialistic shit.
But they don't say that when
it's like you pay cash for your car, but your car whack. He got a nice car, but he got a Lamborghini, but he leased it. I don't give a damn. It's still a Lamborghini, and it's almost like well, because you really think about it.
Hey, that's a good point. That's a good argument, bro.
Yeah.
Man, super. I noticed that might be true about black men against black men, but you and I could be standing on the corner, debating about our cars. You bought your car cash. I'm telling you, you shouldn't have bought it cash. You tell me I leased my car, and another dude come up. A white man can ride by in a Lamborghini with 3 holes in the car, cats won't say nothing.
Nobody gonna question none. Yeah.
That's why I say there's so many toxic black people out here in America. It's just it's at a level where like it's so toxic. Like I said, it's like Chernobyl, man, where you can't even. It's you smartest not to even deal with these people for 100 years, kind of thing. I'm on a 100-year plan. I'm doing things that my children and their children can benefit off of. That's how I'm thinking. I'm not walking around here worrying about the next man is driving, what the next man is dicking down. I don't come from that kind of culture. I come from a culture where you doing you, stay out of my way, I'll stay out of your way, and we good. This whole like envy, I don't understand it, man.
Let me ask y'all this, like preaching to the I said this earlier. I feel like I did my part already in terms of even starting this type of discussion, because for a long time the game theorist was pretty much dominating the manosphere, saying that first it was don't get married, then it was, man, you know, child support is bullshit, then it was spit game to these hoes, spit game to these hoes, which I think there's a place for that. But as soon as motherfuckers start talking about paying for some ass, like it fractured the manosphere in a way to where you got guys that's like, okay, I agree with this. Then you got guys that's like, I vehemently oppose that. And I felt like that's all I was really meant to do. It ain't no sense in me continuing to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's cool to have that conversation when you're preaching with the choir. But do y'all think it's necessary to go into the debates with the simping equals tricking equals simping thing?
I think it's cool. I think it's okay.
Like, is that a conversation worth having, or?
I think the argument is, I think it is a worthwhile debate, because I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because you inadvertently append a numeric value to a woman that you don't append to a man. Essentially, you're saying that a woman, that you as the man benefit more from a sexual encounter than a woman benefits from you. So her sexual value is worth more than what yours is, and that's the message you convey by being willing to pay them for having sex, in essence, an act in which that you guys are both mutually benefiting from. You see what I'm saying? So I think that may be the argument that well then like y'all fucking up the game. Like, I just watched the video, and I don't know when this guy posted. It's some guy. It's a black guy. He's in Colombia, and maybe you know who he is. Well, I don't know if he's in Colombia right now, but at the time he was in Colombia, and he was talking about the prices of drugs and the prices of prostitution. So he was saying, yeah, don't pay this amount of money.
Oh, I saw.
I know what you're talking about.
But I clicked it so I could watch it later. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and so he's saying like, yeah, like y'all like some of y'all niggas come over here and y'all paying, I think it was 400 or 500,000 pesos, and you really only should be paying 200,000 pesos. So y'all fucking up the game. And so I think a lot of men is like, well, wait a minute, y'all paying for hoes when y'all should be getting it for free. You see what I'm saying? In actuality, nothing is free. You're paying for sex regardless, but that's a whole other story.
What happened when Wilt Chamberlain started dunking all over them white boys back in the day when the rims were like 9.5 feet? What did they do?
Raised it.
But what did the white boys say to him?
Oh, I don't know what they said to him.
They said, you fucking up the game, Wilt. You're fucking up the game, to the point that the NBA raised the hoop on him. Wilt didn't sit around worrying about what his haters were saying. He just started working on getting his vertical even higher. And the white boys still couldn't get up there. So what happened? Eventually, they had to bring in the brothers to compete with dudes like Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, because those are the only one that can compete in. So what it really boils down to is like, you can complain about messing up the game, or you can evolve. See, the thing is, most people are not comfortable with evolving to new circumstances. And that's one of the things that Darwin talked about when he talked about evolution, is that it's not the strongest, it's not necessarily the smartest or the most beautiful. It's the person that's the most adaptable to conditions, right? So when they make these, so what we have is that the black population of men is being challenged in a way that they have never been challenged before, because we had a locked-in system based off of the post-Jim Crow era.
I would argue that the women are too. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. These hoes are like, oh my god, like I don't even.
It's guys. We as men, we on here battling back and forth over if guys should be traveling or if who's black, who ain't black. But I want to let the shit happen because if anything, that would be forcing women here to evolve.
To your
on planes all the time.
To your original question, as far as should an argument be made or should a debate be had? I mean, I said yeah, and I think if it's done on logic and not someone talking, I mean, once someone throws a word like tricking in there, I mean, that's like a what you call ad hominem or whatever, Yeah.
I was just responding to the way that it was framed, but you're right. Like maybe I should go along with that frame.
I don't see tricking.
Once someone starts throwing that type of language or verbiage in there, now they just try to use the shaming tactics. But I think there is a sound and valid argument. I know I could make it. It's not my thing. I could absolutely make it. I could absolutely win that doggone debate as to why it would be in my best interest, to go ahead and pay for ads. I mean, for me as an individual, I can make an absolutely rational case to where I would benefit. It's in my self-interest, and it will actually be better for me to operate and doing it that way. Absolutely.
I think tricking is terminology that's been around the black majority for a long time. So I don't really consider it a personal attack because if you read Iceberg Slim, Donald Coins, and people like that, this is an old word. Tricking is an old word. A trick is just someone that pays for pussy. So I don't have a problem with the word tricking, but if it's a worthy conversation, of course it is, because we're in this society that I keep trying to tell. It's different than any age that we've ever lived in, bro. The internet and these dating apps have changed everything. Like I was saying earlier, for so long, the black population of America has been a locked-in population. So there's been a lot of the dating and the mating was based on these serious boundaries that were real tight around the black community. Then we push into this new era of technology where you aren't competing with your homeboy for the local hood rat anymore. You're competing with men on every continent for the best supply of women all over the world.
Yeah.
So you're and this is uncomfortable for a lot of people.
I mean, if we go and think about it, I mean, there was a time, whether we didn't live in it, but there was a time to where prostitution was absolutely legal. Prostitution has been legal for a whole lot longer than it's been illegal. And I'll repeat that. Prostitution has been legal for a whole lot longer than it has been illegal. And somebody tell me, where was the crime? Where was the carnage? Where was the breakdown of society and order during the time when prostitution was legal?
Well, I think that everything
it was other factors going on too.
Yeah, any system is going to have its benefits and its cons. So obviously, as you said, most of history, and it's still today, there are many places it's legal to have prostitution, but there are some unintended consequences of legalized prostitution. In particular, some of the darker sides of it, like when you got guys that are kidnapping 12-year-old girls, getting them on drugs, and so, there's some dark elements to it. But overall, I think that prostitution serves a higher purpose for society and it benefits society more than it harms society. That's my thought on it.
I think some of the other negative consequences, because I've heard other people speak on this about historically the woman who is no longer known to be a virgin was a threat to society in general, not just a prostitute, but any chick that had sex out of wedlock.
Exactly. And Marcus just brought up a good point, and this is the key reason why the biggest opponents and the biggest supporters of prostitution are females. Isn't that a paradox? See, on one hand, women like prostitution because when they're in their youth, they can take advantage of it and be flown around the country, get everything paid for between the age of 16 and about 28. But then what happens, like what we're seeing with the Me Too movement, is that when these women don't have that high sexual market value anymore, now they hate prostitution.
They become the victim of their
own success.
Yeah.
Because the more successful prostitution is, the less likely men are to marry them and to take care of them in their old age, and it becomes a young woman's dating market and an old woman's spin sale market. So,
but again, during the time when prostitution was legal, to what you said, Marcus, you said the women that were prostitutes were threats to society, and what was the downside that happened?
the women that was known as not like everybody was assumed to be a virgin, and that's what they promoted themselves as. And like even in other cultures, even in I can't speak from direct knowledge, but you know, just speculatively, my understanding of a lot of Islamic culture is like a lot of them females walking around present themselves as virgins, and they not. But they're not gonna, you know, they got they society a little different from ours. But I know as far as like back in the day here in the Western world, marriage was more of it was more of a respected institution. The women that were single or the women that wasn't virgins, they was a threat to society. They was frowned upon because they was looked at as housebreakers, people that could potentially mess up a happy home. They could fuck somebody's husband and have him cheating.
But we have brothels all over the place, and the ladies live there, and
that's where they got. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's where they ended up. If you was divorced or if you was known to just be breaking up happy homes, then you would end up being one of the brothel girls. And that was like society's response at the time. It did have a positive.
But as you notice, though, as societies become more industrialized and they become more capitalistic successful, they inch away from prostitution because it's kind of been known that unleashed female nature, you know, in terms of their sexuality, leads to a lazier and less successful society, because men it seems to be, when they're guaranteed like a certain amount of like chastity in women, and every man is guaranteed at least it gives them something to strive for most men, because typically things kind of like turn into a pyramid where it's like the 10% of men will just have like all of the women in a totally sexually free culture. And what will happen is that, just like what we're seeing now, you'll have a MGTOW type movement.
Yeah, rebel against that shit.
And they, I mean, honestly, if we think about it, I mean, what is more long standing? A man who kind of strives in his youth to find this, you know, flowered virgin and gets her whatever. So, okay, so that's the first 18, 19, 20 years of his life. But then he has to go ahead and bang the same woman for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, throughout that time period, the average man, if he can legally and safely have variety as an option and not be cheated upon or taken to court or divorced, but just every once in a while, bad day or whatever, bad evening at work, wants to celebrate a good day, he just wants to swear off, goes, and you know, and then does his thing, and his wife is don't ask, don't tell. You know, I think that is healthy. I see that it is healthy.
Question: What is healthy? But most women aren't going to be okay with that, though. It might be true for
today.
Are most women okay with a beta male? They will be okay with an alpha male doing that, or a sigma male maybe doing that. But most women, the reason that they marry a beta is because they can control him and because he worships her.
But you see, again, that's if we're talking about
with the guy
today's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to respond to the first thing you said, Preem. Like, believe it or not, there are a lot of men that if they did have an average looking chick, she ain't got to be the 9 or the 10. Like, if he could attract an average looking chick to be loyal to him and faithful to him, a blue pillar, then he would be happy. He would happily be the workhorse.
Yep. Marcus made a very good point right there, because it's a lot.
It happens.
That's being removed to the point where you can't even find a basic bitch to be loyal to you. You can't even find a homely looking chick to be somewhat respectful of so-called beta male or whatever.
Did you guys see that Tinder trap video? All you guys saw that?
Tinder trap?
Yeah. You saw that?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like YouTube videos where they point out how the ratio of responses men get as opposed to women.
No, I'm not even talking about that. So you tell me you didn't see that whole thing that happened in Union Square last week?
I mean, I heard about it. Some chick put a fake profile and had a couple hundred guys showed up and just kind of was talking on a microphone. I mean,
man,
no, I ain't see that.
Oh, you got to see that when you get off this hangout, bro. So basically, you know that whole little sexual harassment thing they had back in New York where they took the little broad and she was walking through, man.
Oh, yeah, about how many cat callers and stuff.
Yeah. So the little opportunist guy who was behind that, he did another social experiment. And just on a side note, as someone that studies law, if I was one of those dudes, I would be suing this dude because social experiments have to get like, there's a whole bunch of protocols and red tape you got to go through to do like social experiments on people like that. But anyway, so basically the dude that was behind that video, he got with some little IG thought. She was like a 5'6" with makeup, right? And she sent out like all these messages on Tinder to link up with these different little thirsty dudes. And she actually was able to get like over 100-something dudes out there. Now, remember what I just said. When you look at this chick, you'll say she's a 5. When you go look at it, right?
Yeah, she was barely basic. She
turned these dudes into a real life Tinder bachelorette situation where she was on stage with security in Union Square in one of the cities that has like a 3-to-1 ratio of women to men, where you would think that dudes can scoop up the women easily, but obviously not. So these dudes is out there. So she starts going through a little checklist. So she's like, if you under 6 feet or whatever.
Oh, is she sitting like all these guys sitting in a circle?
No. These dudes is in an audience, literally in Union Square, and she turned it into like a Olympics for her. So she's actually has this list, and she's
still an elimination thing.
Yeah, process of elimination. So she's just going through the list till she got down to like 10% of dudes. Then she had them 10% of dudes doing sprints. Marcus, do you know what I'm saying?
That shit could not have been real. I mean, I refuse.
It was real.
That basic looking, barely basic looking broad could have had some of them cats doing.
All right, man, and that's why cats underestimate. I think Preem, you're saying that because for your paradigm, you can't imagine humiliating yourself like that. But you guys are so sleep on how thirsty dudes are here. So
trust me, I ain't sleep. I still see it, and that's part of what makes me have to distance myself from the brothers that I know that I like. And now I'm talking about people I know. I ain't talking about people on the internet. Like I know guys like this, and I watch them jump through hoops that I used to jump through.
Yeah. Now you just used the best word. You said jump through hoops. This broad literally had these dudes doing hula hoop contests out there, push-up contest, sprinting contest. I mean, I'm just looking at it.
So again, if a rational thinking man can say, you know what, this broad is barely basic chick, and he's like, you know what, I can have my cake and eat it too. I can focus on my grind, focus on my mission, focus on my purpose, my money, my career, my project, my ventures here in the States. And when I want me some tail, I can go get me a 9, an 8, a 9, or a 10. I can get her to rub my head, rub my feet. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
No, I was agreeing with y'all. Having she look at I got a video with dudes talking about that. Like whatever chick you looking at over here, the girl that's in that video y'all talking about, I go find a motherfucker to look just like her, better than her.
Oh, this bra was a barely basic. Dog. I mean, she wouldn't even.
Perspective on that would be good. So I can't wait till you watch the video. I think that'll be a good content for you because I think that is right up your lane.
I need to,
exactly. So
like that before.
Yeah,
My bad.
So to the whole jumping over hoops thing again, to each his own. But like for me, and what I think some brothers are gonna see is like, listen, I can be laser focused on my purpose, on my mission, on my situation here. And I can take a nap, hop on a plane, and take a 2-hour nap, wake up in a place sunny, beautiful, and have my choice and my selection of 9s and 10s, and I can do that every 6 weeks if I want to, every 4 weeks and I can stay in contact, and I don't have to limit myself to that. That's the Caribbean to a Sigma's point. I can make this shit a global thing. I can have women in London. I can have them in Brussels. I can have them in Buenos Aires. I can have them in Colombia. I can have this. I can be strategic about how I do this and just be laser focused as a black man on getting ahead in this system. I believe that's the era that we will be absolutely going into.
And that is what's going on. That's what I mean by evolution. That's exactly what's happening. Is that either you're going to evolve and compete in this global market. I'm not just talking. See, we get so caught up in talking about pussy all the time that we make it about pussy. But it ain't just about that. It's about competing globally as far as the economy changing. We're we're moving into an economy that you don't master this technology that we're talking on right now, if you don't become more independent, bruh, the kind of pain that you're in store for. I was reading a New York Times article that said that in 10 years, over 50% of the American workforce will be strictly contract. There won't be, half of the workforce will be part-time or on call, and the other half will be full-time. But here's the trick. The full-time jobs will be in a shorter and more competitive supply than ever. So like, let's say if one job has 500 applications today, 10 years from now, you might have one job with 1,000 applications in a shrinking pie with rising costs, lower wages, increasing automation. So it's just all these things are happening right now.
Exactly.
And people are afraid. So when they're afraid, they try to latch on to things that make them feel secure, like a monkey in a tree. So of course, if you feel like you've fallen, you're gonna try to grab onto the closest branch, but instead of, like, you know, falling to your death. And that's what I think they're doing, but they don't know that they're going about it the wrong way. Because
and brothers, and what's happening, and what's going to happen is, or what is happening is the average everyday thinking brother, he's seeing this and he's putting himself in and he's being very strategic, in introspective as far as what skills can I acquire that I can export, that if an opportunity arises in another country, I just have a language barrier to get over. But this skill that may be make me like a 4, a 3 or 4 as far as a skill set here, if I take this shit and if I export it to another country, I'm a 9 or a 10 because of this skill set I could take over there. So I got that I could take over there. Then I got the women that are over there that I can set up either on the online dating site or, you know, through other means. So he's like, listen, I could be international with this thing and get ahead of this game.
And
you
that's
know,
where we're at. That's where we're at. We're in an international, globalized society, and I'm telling you, man, I think the reason that you probably feel that envy stronger amongst us black population of men is because, let's be honest, in terms of like the totem pole of society, we're on the economic bottom, and you shouldn't run from that. We have to face it, and we have to take care of the issue. The fact is, black men are economically at the bottom of the ladder.
So let me go ahead and drop this, and I'm not gonna phrase it well, but it's a thought on top of my head. So just in the same way of how a quote unquote for the sake of argument, an average brother making average income here in the States, if he take but overseas, he's above average because he's in demand because of his black skin and his perceived whatever yada yada yo. And his money is 10x somewhere. So if when brothers take that same formula and apply it to their careers and their skill set, so that skill set here, you export that. So it doesn't have to be just limited to your cock or your dick or your ability for women. But what brothers are going to see is that my skill set now, I can leverage that. So to that original point of this whole thing, as far as it's in everybody's own personal self-interest to leverage everything and anything that you possibly can. So if we can leverage our dollars here and get more bang for our buck overseas, we can also leverage our skill set here. We don't have to be IT specialists, just little skills that we can get online courses for $199 that we may think ain't shit. And maybe little shit here. But if you take that shit somewhere overseas, they've never heard of that. They've never heard of a CRM and automation or constant contact. And you'd be like, constant contact, everybody knows how to use that. But if you go over somewhere else, you can start your fucking agency and add agency. And the only hurdle you will have is a language hurdle. Now, how do you get over that? Find you abroad, find you someone down there stateside. You know what I'm saying? Build a relationship with someone that may be bilingual and have her be your emissary. You know, brothers hustling. Brothers gonna be hustling on that level right there. I apologize. Go ahead.
Are you speaking for? Well, you said a lot I wanted to respond to, but just started from the last thing you said. Even to fathom the thought of having a connect that you learning another language with. That goes over a lot of people's head because remember, some motherfuckers, all you being on another side of the pond, all that equals to is you fucking bitches that's having sex for toilet paper. Like that in they mind, there's no such thing as networking across overseas. No such thing as actually caring about or wanting to, you know, embrace somebody else's culture or make friends in other countries or start businesses in other countries. Like no, like what Sigma said, we at the bottom of the totem pole. So niggas is too dumb for that. Niggas is too. We can't possibly be capable of doing those things. You know, this is how people think about us. This is how.
Brother, to that point, I'm gonna be really, really quick, King Sigma. To that point, I'm very careful as far as the personal information that I share. So forgive me if I'm a little vague in this, but you know, I've said before and disclosed before the lady that I'm dealing with, you know, in Colombia, she's beautiful, but she's a little bit older. But I was strategic in my pursuit of her because this lady graduated with a law degree. She spent some time in politics, in a political structure there. So not only do I have an interest there, a love interest there, but I also have a lady who's extremely well connected, said, I will teach you anything, this, that, and whatever. When I had a partner, another YouTuber here on a live stream, we was talking about cannabis. They're really big in the CBDs and vaping and cannabis and this, that, and whatever. I asked her, I said, hey, what's the deal with legalized marijuana and CBD oil or whatever that stuff is called over there in Colombia? It took her less than 10 minutes. She had emailed me the damn Colombian Ministry of Health, their whole protocol on CBD and medical marijuana.
How do you explain it? How that level of an asset, because that lady is an asset to you, and I'm sure you sir. Some ways. How do you explain that to a motherfucker that?
Now again.
How do you explain that to a block nigga?
One more last thing, and I promise. Two super trizzes point as far as damn, what did he say? Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say this: is that what I knew was that when I first found out about Colombia, there was a lot of brothers there. They showed me all the places you can go ahead and get poon, the beautiful ladies, this, that, and whatever. But I knew that was always going to be there. Yeah, I said that's not going nowhere. I mean, they print out beautiful young women like a damn printing press. If I ever, you know, if that's gonna end up being my thing, then it's always gonna be there. But I was gonna be more strategic in my thinking, but damn, I lost my doggone thought. That's not where I want to go. I'm sorry, King Sigma, you.
I was say congrats to Marcus Allen. He said he just got his passport.
Congrats.
Hey, the thirst is real on both sides. Shout out to Ghost and Wild Black. He said, Marcus, you must be focused on school. That's good. Most of YouTube is filth. I have been focused on school, but this is the first week, so it ain't like I've got it. The hardest thing was registering and going through the placement test and college advisors and all that shit. But I'm actually enjoying that.
Marcus is a hero, man. He's definitely got that heart of a hero. I don't got it, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
What you mean? Like,
you got the heart of a hero, man. Because I don't got it. I just don't got it. Because
you got that wisdom. I'll be happy when you come on. Cause
nah, you a hero, bro. Because you care. You really do. So like you just asked the question. You said, how do you explain that? I was gonna just get this little disclaimer. I don't use as of yesterday. I'm not using the word nigga no more. So I'm announcing that to everybody. If you hear me use the word nigga on a chat, just spontaneously, just tell me, because one of the words that I'm eliminating from my vocabulary, I'm not using the word nigga no more. So that's done. I'm using, if I want to describe someone that's uneducated, I will just use redneck or black redneck.
I always say brother to try to stop from saying nigga, but I'm just one extreme or the other.
You guys on the panel are my brothers. You guys that are on a mission to improve yourself, brothers. Black rednecks ain't my brothers. They black rednecks. But I ain't using that word nigga no more, because that's the word of the white supremacists. And that's how they use it to belittle us and take away our manners. So I'm done with that word. But as far as like, you know, trying to educate a redneck, that ain't my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? That's their parents' responsibility. That's their relatives. Or if they decide to sign up for a class, that's their teacher responsibility. And I'm going to tell you why I think like this. This is why I think like this. Okay, I told Preem earlier this summer that I got this deal with these two startup companies. And I've been working on it for the last 3 or 4 months, and we're so close to closing this deal. I don't get paid no salary. I only get paid with all the work I've been putting in this summer. I only get paid if I make the sale, strictly commission. But the commission is beautiful. But in the meantime, I got to do other hustles to make the deal. through this situation of this intellectual property deal I'm working on, I'm working with two companies. One is a web design company. The other company deals with like transit improvement or whatnot. The dude I'm dealing with, the CEO, he's a 30-year-old white boy from California. And he has like app technology that he created with his team that's going to change the whole public transportation game here in America, right? 30 years old. No one helped him do it. No one helped me get this deal. When I was actually sitting up there eating oatmeal for like a month while I worked through this list of leads to different companies in America, trying to link them with different assets, no one was sitting there worrying about me. When I was going to school, I never heard no black redneck come up in there like, hey, bro, let me help you with that book. Let me help you with that test. I never heard no one when I was catching public transportation or I had to call up my girl to come pick me up. I didn't see no black redneck as he was out there serving his coke and he was getting all these bitches in the club and having all his fun come to me and be like, yo, man, I'll give you a ride to the library. So I guess like when you go through that kind of like sacrifice and you go through that journey on your own and you prove to yourself that you could do it yourself, you kind of look at the world differently. So when I hear you say, how can you help them? I don't know, because for me, I'm not going to get off my path to go save someone. But if I meet someone that looks at where I'm going and they're like, man, where's you going? Well, I'm trying to get over there. And they say, man, I want to go the same direction you're going. I can do that. But I'm not going to be on my path and I see all these different motherfuckers on the side of the road and go up to each one of them and be like, yo, man, no. That's why I say you got a heroic heart.
Oh, well, no, don't get me confused. I get what you're saying. You basically saying save yourself, black man. Like, you're not going to go out your way to dedicate your life to uplifting fallen humanity. Fuck fallen.
I'm not. But there are brothers like you that are gifted.
No, I'm just using the language. Trust me, I ain't out here. I just came from and I did Facebook Live. I didn't do YouTube Live, but I went to this community summit to listen about stopping the gun violence and all that shit. That's just a favor. I'm not finna be sitting up there every week. I'm not finna be marching in the streets and all that shit. And on this YouTube community, I chop it up with people that I'm fond of, people that I'm cool with. But other than that, like, I'm not finna. You
denying that you have a heroic heart, Marcus? You got a good heart.
I'm saying that there's a spectrum.
But you're at least in the middle of that spectrum. Me, I'm like literally like, I don't give a fuck. I'm dead serious.
That's what you is.
And I know that some people tell me I'm wrong for that. Like, I've been accused of being a very selfish person, and I don't deny this, man. I'm like, it's true. And maybe it is unfortunate that I had to go through all those struggles on my own. But I had a lot of homeboys that they was doing different things than I was doing. Like, they was partying, and I would come like to the party maybe once every other week, right? But they would be at it like 24 hours a day. Yo, you want to come to this party or you want to hit this club? And I'm like, nah, man, I got to do this or that. And then they started looking at that with some lame shit. Like, man, fuck that, man. Let's come this way. And I'm like, my eyes were so focused on the goal that I couldn't do all that. You know what I'm saying? I had a long-term goal. And I just noticed that when you're out here grinding, ain't no one most people is not giving a fuck about you when you grinding, dude.
Ain't nobody doing my homework for me. Ain't nobody checking in to work for me. Ain't nobody paying my bills. Like, I know exactly what you're saying. And when you have something, the fruit of your labor, then everybody looking at you or they telling you what to do with it.
Marcus, let me tell you something that happened to me, man. And you gonna feel this. You're gonna feel this. I decided I wanted to take the LSAT to get into law school, right?
Uh-huh.
Right when the winter came, man, my car broke down on me in the middle of the fucking winter, man. In a Midwest winter. I'm talking about like in January, dude. And I didn't have the money at the time to fix that shit. It was like $2,000. And my test was coming up in 6 weeks. So I had to get rides from my girl. I had to take her car. And on days when I couldn't, man, I had to fucking walk to the school library like 8-9 blocks in the middle of the winter, back and forth to study for my test and go to these testing classes because the bus system was actually worse than just walking the 10 blocks because, you know, in the middle of the winter, man, did anyone come to me? I'm gonna fix your car. But even more, did I go to anyone else and say, fix my car? No, I said, I'm gonna deal with the goal at hand and I will fix the car after I achieve the goal. When I sat down for that 3-hour test, Wasn't no one up in there like, yo, I'm gonna take this test for you. I got the fruits of my labor. I got the fruits of my labor. When I had to pay $100 each application, man, think about that for a minute. Each one of those applications for grad school, $80 to $100, man, just for the fucking application to be told yes or no, right? You think that I wanted to take $500 and pay for applications, or do you think I would have liked to be down there with you in the Dominican Republic, you know, drinking pina coladas, eating fish with a dime? Of course. Right. But I had to make those sacrifices to get what I wanted. So now when I get to where I'm at and I hear cats on here talking about don't go travel, don't go buy that beans, don't eat filet mignon every day, man, I just laugh so hard you could not imagine. I'm talking about I laugh so hard that they could hear it in heaven.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying. Like for me, it's like I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea about what I'm saying, because you got to look at it from my perspective of what I went through, dude. I'm talking about I don't know a lot of cats that would have been walking in the middle of January and February in the snow to go study for no damn test 2 or 3 hours a day. I don't know many that's gonna make that sacrifice. So what I'm saying is that I only want to deal with dudes like that. Why? Because then I don't have to vet them. I don't have to vet them at all, because I know that if you get to the point that I'm at, if I have a little conversation with you how you got there, I'm gonna know what your character is. I want to only deal with other black men of high character that are willing to sacrifice, because then I can fight with them in the trenches. I'm not gonna get in the trenches with someone just because they have the same skin as me and then find out that they was the enemy the whole time. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you on that.
Oh, I got something.
I'm glad you made that. I'm glad you made the argument, because my bad, Super Tree. I'm just glad he said that, because that kind of goes in line with what I've been doing damn near my whole life. Because I've always had motherfuckers telling me what they think I need to be doing, but ain't nobody in there doing it for me. You know, everybody can sit on the sideline and say what you should or shouldn't be doing. But then the last thing I wanted to say in response to King Sigma was like, I don't feel that you will be a bad person or that you like wrong for being indifferent towards other motherfuckers, because if you listen to everybody in the manosphere, everybody that had these little talking points, like we all have some aspect of society that we say we don't give a fuck about. So like the people who, they might be mad at Sigma because he say I'm not worried about saving the black rednecks, but they not worried about saving single mothers, or single mothers ain't worried about saving niggas that's getting run through the system. So like everybody got an aspect of another form of who they claim to be family or claim to be part of a so-called community, but it's for some reason it's convenient. They can conveniently say fuck them, and we supposed to respect the laws that they set out for us, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense to me what you said. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's that whole do as I say, not as I do thing.
Yeah, I can make the rules for you, but they don't apply to me type shit.
Yeah, that's just like the stuff that the Catholic Church is going through right now. They can tell you that you shouldn't be in a polygamous relationship. They could tell that you shouldn't have premarital sex and all that. But the whole time, they out here molesting little boys and girls.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I stay in my lane. And like I said, I get attacked by my own family. Me and my mom be arguing about this shit, bro. She like, you know, because she feels like I don't call just to call. Like I like doing constructive things. So I'm not going to just call you to talk about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that kind of turns into like gossip or negative talk. I'm going to call you with something constructive, or I'm going to call you to celebrate something that was achieved with you, or you achieved something and you want to celebrate it with me. Like the brother in the chat that just got his passport. I'm just saluting him right now because that's a victory right there. That's a victory. That's the kind of stuff I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about brothers that are really my brothers, that are black men that are doing constructive and productive things with their time. You see what I'm saying? And people say that I'm wrong for that because I put my focus on people that are doing constructive and productive, positive things. I get a lot of blowback on this, man, because they feel like you should be out there feeding the homeless. They feel like you should be out there kicking the crack pipe out of people's mouths and all that. And
even if you was out here doing that, that ain't even enough, bro, because I'll be watching these community leaders. I go to this shit out here in Chicago and I watch them chop each other down and criticize each other because everybody want to be in charge of some shit. Don't nobody want to just either help out how they can and be humble, or fall in line with somebody else that's actually doing it a better job than they are. Don't nobody want to do that.
Go ahead, Super. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was listening to y'all.
Oh yeah, so I mean, just to respond to Marcus, like, I know that you're a guy you've been in this red pill thing for a long time, you said, and I don't know why there's so much blowback against the individual black man that is not harming anyone or doing anything to anyone, and he's not asking for anything, he's not blaming no one. It's like, it seems like he's the one that gets the most violent response from people, like you're supposed to suffer with them. It's some weird shit that goes on.
Not cool enough, and I'm talking about me when I say that, but that's what it boils down to. Like, in the black community, if you're a lame, or if you wasn't the coolest person, the charisma, if you're not Obama, then they don't care. Like, it don't matter if you come up with the best ideas or if you can contribute in the best type of ways. If you don't have a charisma, if you're not cool enough, if you ain't a better slick talker than the next motherfucker, then don't nobody care. I even see that in these put the guns down rallies and shit. Like, all they doing is being infatuated with the preachers or the politics, whoever can make you feel good when they talk.
You talking about social validation?
Yeah, if you got away with words, and I'm not saying this to shame people who are good talkers. I admire good talkers, but I also know, like, that's a double-edged sword. You could be a good talker and uplift people, or you could be a good talker and be finessing everybody, like basically selling them some bullshit, and they'll be loving it. But here, like what you said earlier, I could come here and I may not look the way people want me to look. I may not sound the way people want me to sound, but I could say 2 + 2 is 4, and that could be correct. But it's like, man, fuck that nigga.
Yeah, real talk.
I don't nobody give a fuck if 2 + 2 is 4. Get your ass out of here. You a lame.
You just you mentioned Obama, and I've always been fascinated about Obama because he, to me, represents that guy who all his life, all he dated was white women, right? And then the one time he meets a black woman in his 30s, that becomes his wife. I was always side-eyeing that. But I always hear all these American black women in particular talk about how great Obama is. But it's funny to me that none of them was checking for dude when he was a nobody. When he was just a dude out there grinding, trying to get a job, trying to get an education, all that, American black women was not checking for him at all. He admits it. He says that they weren't checking for him. But suddenly he becomes the president of the United States, and they tell him how much they want. Even Beyonce was saying she wanted to fuck Barack Obama. She said it.
Damn.
Because she said he was, I guess she admired his intelligence. She said it. Okay? But Beyonce would not have fucked with Barack Obama.
Intelligence don't mean shit if you ain't Barack Obama. I'm talking about the president. Barack Obama. Yeah.
See, I learned from listening to those conversations about Obama from American black women that status is like the most critical thing amongst most American black people. They love status of any shape, So like, people say that they don't like the intelligence. It's not that they don't like the intelligence. It's that in their mind, you're only intelligent if you can obtain money and status. So like you said about someone being a genius, you could be a genius, you could do this and that, but until it leads to you being like some kind of celebrity or it leads you to become like a millionaire, it's like you're not intelligent to them. You know what I'm saying? So like Barack Obama, when he was going to law school and he was living up there in Harlem with all those black dime babes, they didn't want nothing to do with him. But when he actually went through the grind and he worked his way up through the law, got into politics, started getting that paper, now all of a sudden, these women say he is so great, he is so charming, he is handsome. But he was never handsome when he was grinding. So I think you got to know what kind of people you're dealing with. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so easy for the black redneck communities to be infiltrated by outside groups, because these people are not that complicated, man. If you can give them any appearance of celebrity or authority, they respond to that. And the unfortunate thing for you and me as black-skinned men, because we have black-skinned men, we are black-skinned men, other black-skinned people just by default don't respect us because of our black skin. They themselves look at black as inferior, whereas an Asian or a white person, the ice is colder, they must have a superior product, They must have superior knowledge. They must be better by default. And see, I think what happened to me, I came to accept that and I don't give a fuck. And they're mad at me because I accept them for who they are. That's why I tell them all the time, I'm one of the biggest advocates for the black redneck. I'm one of the biggest advocates for the black American woman because I'm the only one out here saying, let them do what they do. Just stay the fuck away from me. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
It used to be the saying in Chicago, like especially in the rap hip hop community. This is like before drill music. All the rappers thought that if you had a white audience, then that's how you was basically gonna get on or get known in Chicago. So like, you know, a lot of times black people go to the open mics, like they support each other fake, like in a fake type of way. But once you start bringing white people to the crowd, then all of a sudden you now you're doing something. And that just kind of allude to what you were saying earlier, like the white man's ice is always cold, or if somebody else is vouching for you just a nigga. And I'm sorry that I keep using that word, but that's just how so many people perceive you. But then once you start gaining traction among other people, now it's all of a sudden now you worthy of praise or worthy of acknowledgement, and that's just fake to me. That's phony.
And that's what it is. Like we were having this conversation about that Weavegate situation and how I've asked.
Gate.
Wait, you don't know about that?
Is that Weavegate? Is that like the people protesting out over the weave?
Yeah. Where the girl, where the black women was out there buying the weave, but the black men was protesting for them.
No, I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about this video.
I know what he's talking about.
Well, Weavegate. I'll send you guys the links in the in our panel chat out because I can catch you up, MAB. But basically, there was Asians are beating American black women's ass.
Oh yeah. Okay, we all talking about the same thing because I've been seeing them videos with them Asians ain't going.
So my whole point about that is that just to build on what you were saying about how the N-word to these black rednecks is true, because think about that for a minute. Now, have you ever heard an American black woman downplay her education in your life? Have you ever heard that?
Downplay her education or yours?
Her education.
Not her own. No, if it's hers, then she's the best thing since sliced bread.
Right. But how is it that at the same time that you supposedly have all these not educated, but super educated, master's degrees, right? But they don't own shit. Can you please explain to me how the most educated group they claim to be, this is what they claim that they are, why don't they own those retail weave shops and all of the logistical wholesale things that's related to it? Why not?
Well, I don't know about the hair industry, but I do know that the professional black women that I know and the educated black women I know, they are working with some shit. You know, they ain't suffering by a long shot, but they ain't looking to help out nobody that ain't in they cliques either. Like they either sorority based, or they helping out their sorority sisters, or they helping out female. Like it's all about female empowerment. If you a nigga looking for, I gotta keep saying, if you a guy looking for a handout, then you just SOL.
Now think about what you just said. You just said they're all looking out for their own, right?
Right.
But when I look out for myself as a black man, I'm enemy number one. I'm in a firing circle from all angles. But yet the most educated demographic in America, quote unquote, when they choose not to invest in the same fucking areas that they claim to be dedicated to, they okay.
They not looking out for the Keishas and the Queequees either. They looking out for the people that's on that they feel are in they caliber.
Socioeconomic class.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead and talk, man.
Hey, what's going on?
How y'all doing? What's good with you, man? What's good with you, Marcus? As you can see, my ass is on the road as well, sitting over here driving.
Yes, sir.
I-81 on Virginia. So.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, my bad. But I wanted to chime in on this topic that you guys on about this whole thing about the trick and prostitution and stuff. And I've been saying it for years now, and pretty much because we're getting to the fourth industrial stage where there's going to be artificial intelligence and automation, pretty much is going to be calculating people's jobs. And like I think it was King Sigma, he was saying that pretty much in the next 5 to 7 to 10 years, you're going to see a whole environment shift. You have to understand, women respond to what's in their environment right now, and due because the environment has allowed them to get away pretty much with murder, that it's going to be a hard time with the environment that's coming up for them to really adjust. So it's going to be three things that's either going to happen. It is either they're going to have to get on code or get into the to hop on board, because there won't be no running to the white daddy. I mean, you already seen the incident that happened with Mia Wilson, so they already know that's not about to happen. So you're going to have to get in code with your men, because, like I said, our sisters have a deep hatred, contempt for black men. They don't even love their black boys, yet alone. So to get on code with their brothers, or they're going to have to get swallowed. Happen, because I highly doubt a sister going to want to be homeless in the street, especially what's coming, the things that's coming up now, and the whole opioid crisis that's happening in the white community, man. Nah, I don't think they're going to want to do that. So the thing is, it may end up forcing them probably to most likely sell their body, because they don't have no other skill. I mean, because it's going to either be trades, or you're going to have to get skills that's going to be in the technology force, which that's what, like I said, thinking men, black men, they are already gravitating towards those fields already. So to be honest, black men are already ahead of the curve. They're just not saying anything about it. Everything is behind the scenes.
Well, I want to jump in real quick on that one, because I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but when we talk about getting on code and what the woman's response will be as far as being on code and whatnot, we also have to look at. I don't know if you're aware of the actual story that came out with the rapper Future.
Yeah.
Future just married the woman that one of his baby's mothers, whatever. I think one of the ones that he has 2 kids by. But what he did was called a spiritual marriage. So he didn't get legally married. So now this woman has no legal recourse in the event of their divorce beyond her getting child support, but there is no alimony, because I believe they got married in Georgia. So that's not a common law state. So
it's not, because I live there. Yep.
So now we have somebody who represents the quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray. And we have somebody who, even though he's a Pookie and Ray Ray, he is a man of means. And so now he's setting a precedence. So now men are gonna say, okay, well shit, I ain't gotta get legally married. I can marry her. Now she won't have any recourse. And so now her incentive to leave changes, because it's like, okay, now we're entering the age of automation.
Mm-hmm.
And now she can't just, she can't get a job if she's unskilled. She can't leave me and expect to get alimony. Government's going to start cutting off the incentives that women get. So it's like now women have to start making more conscious decisions about the men that they actually bear children with and spend their lives with. So now we're entering that era of the game. And now when I did read that story, right, the comments from black women were of utter outrage and disgust. And it
I'm just saying, I know.
It goes back to my refusal to engage not just black women, but women in general, certain topics, because that no matter what, they will never listen to logic and reasoning. Now, all of their points basically alluded to the fact that, well, if they get divorced, he won't get, or she won't get nothing. That's bullshit. That ain't no real marriage, and blah blah blah. That's fake marriage.
Oh,
that was the catch, Marcus. That was the catch. Yep.
Now all of a sudden, it ain't about love and the little things that count and shit. Like now you can distinguish. Now all of a sudden they can distinguish the difference when we say, yeah, let's get spiritually married. But I want to play devil's advocate real quick. I see the things down the pipeline in terms of like, I don't want to say no more marriage, because I think people are gonna always get married. But I think also women are gonna always have a hustle as long as child support is a thing. So I don't see them. I don't see this day when all these women will be homeless on the street begging to be wiped up by some guy. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think a lot of them are too arrogant to even get to that point, and it's gonna always be some simps out here. But
But it's not too many simps though. It's not too many simps. And to be honest, it's not really black men. There's not too many black men that are even making above $30,000-$40,000. So they can't even really take care of another individual.
right.
But
So
there's a saying in the Bible that says that in that day, I'm not trying to get biblical, but in that day, 7 women will go to one man and beg to take his name, and they will do their own labor. They will provide their own wealth. I think what the brother's referring to, Pharaoh, is the fact that women adjust to their environment, man. This is the fact.
exactly.
And so, and because they have this adjustable personality that's biologically in them, if a situation like, okay, if tomorrow America passed Sharia law, these women is gonna adjust to it. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be like one day they a thought, right? But then the next day the men are saying no more of that shit. They're just gonna drop in line and do whatever they're told to do because they don't have the power of force, bro. They don't have the power of force. Men have the power of force. And when a collection of men decide that a society is gonna go in a certain direction, what's gonna happen is that the men that don't disagree are gonna go to war with those men, and the winner is going to decide the future of the society. That's how this always works. Women, where in history has it been women going to war with the men, and then the women beat the men, and they decide the future? When has this physical war ever happened that you know of? So what will happen in history already repeat itself. So if it comes down to a situation where society, the economic reality is that one man will have 7 wives or whatever, or 20 wives, whatever, then that's what these hoes is going to adjust to. They're going to adjust to the situation.
That's all I was saying. I don't think we're not going to see women starving or homeless and nothing like that on large scale. But what I can see happening is like I'm going to say revolution, for lack of better terms, of the men that they used to being pampered by. Like, you know, it's going to be a level of simps out here, but as much as like the more people come across the manosphere, or even just come across like experiences that drive men away from the dating market, men are gonna find other options, and that don't mean that nobody gonna check for these females out here. That just means we gonna look at them like, okay, you offering what? You talk about you offering what to me? Okay,
it's a new contract, Marcus. It's a
you expecting me to do what? And then, it's like a not even a contract, but a pay as you go type situation. Like a lot of these hoes gonna be prepaid. They ain't gonna be no more contracts. Ain't gonna be no more contracts. We ain't doing contracts no more. It's just,
I mean,
that's gone. Yeah.
That future situation is interesting. He ran good game on that, bro. Good game. And he just proved my point. Women, see, one of the things I noticed about a lot of cats, man, they don't understand that these hoes can only get away with as much as we let them get away with collectively. Exactly. So if you have, if the minority of the population are blue pill simps, you're gonna have a red pill society. If half of the population is on some blue pill and the other on some red pill shit, you're gonna have like a society that's a mixture. If you have a society that's like 70% blue pill and only 30% red pill, you get what you have in America right now. So what we're suffering from is the fact that since like the sexual revolution of the 70s and all that, a lot of these white men in power became straight up fucking beta simps, man. And they allowed these women to get access to power and to dictate the terms, and they're living to regret that shit right now, man, because now that little Frankenstein monster that they created is just out of control, accusing people of rape, getting people fired for false charges. I mean, they just totally out of control. Like, you know, we use the term around here called the succubus, and that's what they come in to be, like she demons, and they need to be brought back under control, or either or at least not empowered through artificial means of taxpayer dollars, government policies that give them a leg up, not based on merit, but just based on their vag. And that shit has to end. As a man on this planet, I will not support anti-male policies. I will not put other people of less talent above me. I will always support a system that provides equal opportunity to the most qualified people to do their job. But I'm not going to give you any special privileges. But we got to move away from that. That's why these women have all this like narcissism and vanity, because we're allowing them to get away with this shit. We're subsidizing their bullshit.
Yeah.
But I was gonna step off the panel, guys. I gotta go for my daily walk. Thanks for having me on, Marcus. You guys all have a good day. I'm gonna still tune in while I'm walking, but I can't miss my little afternoon walk today.
Well, I'm about to cut out of here too. It may be because I gotta work tonight, so I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get back up at 7. I gotta go back to work at 7, but I gotta get up at 3 to go work out. So, anyways, I will say that it was a pleasure speaking with everybody on the panel. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well for Mr. MAB Experience Uncensored. And I'm out.
Thank y'all, man. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up too, bro. I appreciate all y'all for joining in the chat on the panel. Pharaoh, thanks for coming through, man. You got anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Nah, I'm just saying, appreciate you for letting me on, man. We ought to do, like a trucker kind of podcast, just chop it up, me and you, because we out here on the road. See, I do OT. I'm an owner op, so I do OTR. So I've done 48 of connecting states. I think you said you never really went out
I never been over the
OTR.
road. Yeah, that's why I don't ever really get on them conversations. I could probably talk a little bit about local driving, but that's only like Chicago. I might. Well, at the time when I was doing the local runs, I was going to Moline, Illinois, and back. You know the rail yards and the terminals for ABF. I'm not with them no more, but that was like the only extent of me actually leaving Chicago. But,
okay. So you did intermodal. So you used to do.
No,
so you did the intermodal rail down there at Cicero.
And Cicero, Cicero. What is that about Cicero and Ogden? I did the one on 27. I would go out to Wheeling, Illinois. They had that wasn't a rail yard, that was a terminal. Wheeling, Illinois, Des Plaines. But I was pretty much at home every night. It was just by me being the sub guy that fit in, I would have to pick up out of whatever terminal they sent me to at the moment. So I'm glad them days is kind of behind me, but I never did do over the road. So y'all got like a whole nother level of experience.
Man. Yeah, man, we will. I mean, I sent you requests on Facebook. It's the same. My same name, Pharaoh Edmondson. You can see all the pictures and stuff I've been to, man. I done the most scariest thing, man, when you drive into that snow. And the company here, they used to just send me out there to like the states like Washington and Oregon, man. And when I tell you, man, they complain about snow in Illinois and Wisconsin, man. Ain't no snow in Oregon and Washington.
Yeah, I can imagine. I complain about the snow out here because we be doing snow removal in the wintertime, but
yeah,
that over the road, that's a whole nother animal. Yeah. I'll be looking at one of my guys on Snapchat. He be Snapchatting the whatever little ramps he be going off of on the mountains and shit.
Oh, okay.
Listen, hey, be safe out there, bro.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I might come back a little later because there was some other stuff I wanted to talk about that it ain't really related to nothing on some ego type shit. But I'm gonna take a little.
Okay.
I might go live a little later today though.
Okay, well, I'll be shut down then. Wait, and you think you can send me the link on the email thing? Because it's not something about me clicking the link from your chat room for all Hangouts. It's not really working.
Yeah,
can I be on it later? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Android, because it could be. Matter of fact, I emailed you talking to you. I got that same issue when people send me a Hangout link.
Yeah, I got an Android. Yeah.
Yeah, I can show you how to get around that, but I'll still email it to you.
Okay, cool.
All right, for sure. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining in the chat. I'll come back on here a little later and chop it up with y'all a little later. All right, peace.